There's Emmanuel. That's the man I've been waiting for. Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to him. Yes!
What it do?
Woo! I got my Brooklyn, my Whitney Houston, my Adidas. This all for you. This New York in the building. Yes.
I had to slap the jersey on right quick.
Just exactly, because that's how y'all know he from Brooklyn, right? Y'all already know that's his hometown.
Brooklyn Best Eye is in this Mickey Ficky on special occasion of the memory of 9/11 and the memory of the night before 9/11, which was the concert. So we're gonna get into the Michael Jackson concert. We're gonna get into the 9/11. Whatever you want to talk about, Q, you already
listen. I don't even want to talk. I want to listen because because we went through it, but I wrote a blog about it. So anybody who want to know how I felt, just go into my link in my bio and you could click the blog and read about everything that I went through. Shout out to all your fans coming in.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What it do? What's going on? What's up, GG? What's up, Rick? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? So but your perspective is important in this, okay? It's important because the way I see it and the way you see it is completely, different.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. I want to know how you see it. I never really talked to you about it.
And I've never talked about the whole, Michael Jackson concert, which I think is his last concert. If I'm not mistaken, that was his last real concert. And we never talked about that. We never talked about the next morning, which was 9/11. I've never talked to anyone about that.
Ever. Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. I've never talked to anyone about that.
Wow. Say what now?
Nobody knew.
Are you serious?
Nobody knows to this day.
What? This is an exclusive. I didn't even know I was getting an exclusive.
No, I've never had this conversation before. I've never talked to anyone about it, and nobody even knew to even ask. You're one of the very people to even know to even ask.
Wow, Emmanuel, this is big, and I literally got this yesterday. I didn't think about it Thursday. I didn't think about it a month ago. I thought about it yesterday, and being the loving brother that you are, you responded immediately. I appreciate you.
It's important. You know what? It's important history. How we got through that, how we dealt with that, all of that is real, and how we had to mentally deal with, having the best night of our lives, feeling wild and enjoying all of that, and then the next morning all hell breaking loose.
Come on.
It's like you couldn't have gotten the high of the high and the low of the low in with 24 hours more than that moment right there. That
yes.
Was like to see MJ. Madison freaking Square Garden. Like, come on.
Madison Square. And it's the 30th anniversary. So everybody in their mama's mama is on stage performing.
So Usher's on stage, Chris Tucker's on stage, Whitney's on stage, Britney Spears on stage, Liz Taylor's in the audience, Macaulay is there. I'm sitting right behind them. Listen, okay, so set it up.
All right. Okay.
Your setup is important to how this thing kicks off.
Gotcha.
You're the reason why I even went.
I believe it, because you didn't even know. Let me set it up.
I even went in the first place.
so listen, everyone. First of all, my name is Quincy Thomas. I'm the host and founder of Studio Q. Emmanuel is my good friend. Like, I feel like he's my brother from another mother. Sometimes when I was with his mother, I felt that was my mother. So I started out as a fan, but I ended up as family. And I'm grateful to have known him this long. Months before Michael Jackson's anniversary happened, I got wind of it I wasn't that internet savvy, but I was Whitney Houston savvy. So I found out that Whitney Houston was supposed to be performing at this big Michael Jackson concert. I'm like, Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston on the same, oh my gosh, how can I go? It's the first time ever that I connected Michael Jackson and Emmanuel together to ask him for something. Like, literally, like, this man been friends with Michael forever, but he'll tell you that the first person I asked him about was Whitney Houston. so when I approached him, I called Manny and I was like, yo, do you think that it's possible that if you go to the concert, because I just knew he already knew. And he was like, wait, what are you talking about? I have what do you mean? What's going on? I said, Michael Jackson's having a 30th anniversary and Whitney's going to be performing. It was months before it happened. Manny had no clue. He was like, oh, okay, well, let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me see, let me see what I can do. I hit you back, la. I was like, okay. Okay, let me just quick fast this so we can get to Emmanuel's perspective real quick.
I love all of this because this is like, I was clueless, and my ears is to a different tune sometimes, and so I'm not necessarily always I love you guys more. All the comments down here.
Yes, please don't ignore the love.
I love you guys. You know this. So I'm Mike's my guy. I got so much love and respect for him, and so that's big bro. Period. Right. So
yeah.
You told me they were doing the concert and they were doing it in Madison Square Garden. I don't even know. Was I in Atlanta? Was I in LA? I don't even know.
I don't even know, because you be in the air, you be all over the place. Like, ain't no telling where your GPS was at the time. I'm just glad I had the phone number to connect with you, but you had no clue there was a concert. He had no clue, guys. And so that was it. I asked him. I love Manny. Like, he went on about his life. I went on about my life. I get a freaking phone call the Saturday before the second show, because Michael had two shows. Why? Because he's Michael Jackson. Okay.
Right. Friday and Monday.
Exactly. Friday and Monday. So when Friday happened, and I was like, oh, well, I guess, he couldn't do it, whatever. Saturday, I get a call from Mr. Lewis saying, yo, what are you doing?
What you doing on Monday? You know what? Someone just asked me that. I was like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow, right? And
yeah.
He's like, I says, do you go to a baseball game? He says, are you asking me to the baseball game? Actually, I am. I just have a weird way of getting to that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. You want to go to Michael Jackson concert? No. What are you doing on Monday? You got the day off? Can you come to New York, or you leading something? Or what do you?
Man, I couldn't even articulate words, because first of all, it's Friday. The Friday already, it's Saturday, so the concert in my mind, it was already over. Even though there was another day, But Emmanuel was like, no. I didn't forget about you, boo-boo. I didn't forget about you, boo-boo. And my mouth was just open, and he was like, yeah, get ready. Like, we going. And I was looking for, it was, woo. I can't even describe the adrenaline, because first of all, never seen Michael Jackson live, never been to Madison Square Gardens. Wow. I'm going as a guest with Emmanuel Lewis, and I'm looking forward to seeing Whitney. Like, I was like on cloud 1,000. 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000. And how are you even like, when did it, adjust that, oh, he is having a concert? You heard it in, other places that just, except for me. Like, when did you hear, oh, it is a concert going on?
No, from you. I went from you to calling up, yo, we need a couple of tickets. I mean, that was it. That was
wow.
Because trying to get tickets is like Madison Square Garden. The tickets sold out in what, 15, 20 minutes, something crazy. Come on, it's Michael Jackson.
It's like, Michael Jackson.
Let's keep it a buck. The tickets sold out in record time, like it should. Like,
right.
Not uncommon, usual for for him on any given city on any given night to sell out, and only tickets left is what's on the street, and you don't know what's real and not unless you have a personal dealer. No,
facts. 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 He gave it to y'all real and raw.
Y'all know what's up. Come on now.
Yes.
But you gotta have the highs and some lows. You know what I mean? You gotta
right.
About it. You gotta be able to communicate to the presidents and yo, bruh. Let me get 3.
Yeah. And that my friend, that is Emmanuel Lewis. Okay, he can rock with the janitor and he can roll with the president, and they both know him by name.
Bro, look, listen, my mama and grandmama, they all was, cleaning hotels and houses and all that kind of stuff. Well, my mom did for hotels, and my grandma, that's that other generation that did.
Yes.
So what's good, Marky Mark? So, it's how can anybody be less than, greater than my mama and my grandma? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, this is people, and I got love for it. You ain't even gotta love me back. Just go your way. Let me love you from a distance.
And look, he done did that too. He done did that. He does it both, but beautifully. That's what I love about you, man. And so I'm learning, because I didn't really know. I mean, I knew at that moment that I was the only person, but I didn't know that I really was it. Of informing you that Michael Jackson had, a concert coming up.
You pulled my coattail on that one for sure.
Wow.
And so you said that there was a ticket. Sylvia Flanagan was senior editor of Jet Magazine. She came from Chicago, and she came in, and I flew in. You flew in. I don't even remember.
Manny, I had so many problems getting to New York. Look, y'all was at the show. I came in when Michael Jackson took the box out. I missed everything but that part.
Oh, wow.
I came in, I was in Madison Square. I came to the hotel. It was so hard to get to New York City the day before. I don't know what was going on, but it was difficult, but I was still able to get there. And right when I was about to lose my mind in the hallway or whatever at Madison Square Garden, I did everything. Got to the hotel, got to the Madison Square Garden. Then I was about to lose it. Like, oh my God, where's everybody? Where is them? And then I saw your brother, Chris. I saw the back of him and I was like, oh my God. And it
too.
Huh?
He was late getting in too.
Yeah, I had no idea. And he turned around. He was like, hey, you came out right at the right time. It was like, what? I was so happy.
Got there when I got there early. That before the concert started, obviously I got there early. Well, they told me what time I need to get there, and plus I had to go pick up the ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or did I have tickets?
Ain't no telling with you.
I don't exactly remember, but I think I had tickets. And when the time that I got there, we got a particular entrance to come into Madison Square Garden. I got there to.
Yeah, your audio went out. Oh, there you go.
I got there the same time Serena Williams got.
I saw her.
and I got there the same time. It's like a backstage green whatever VIP or whatever. And what's my guy name with the guitar? Lenny Kravitz.
Mm.
So Lenny Kravitz, and the Serena, and I think Liz was already in the back, and I think Quincy was there. It was a bunch of familiar faces, as far as the big dogs coming out to go see the big dog.
Icons.
Yeah, the icons. So the entertainer's entertainer.
Yes.
So we were getting in around that time that you're supposed to go in and chill for a minute backstage, and everybody's all geeked and excited, and I was like, "Where's Mike? I'm hey, how you doing? Cool. Where's my dog? You know what I'm saying?" We hang out in the dressing room, and either harangue him or don't harangue him. It depends on which mood he's in, but because sometimes it's more or just excited. That's no matter what. It's not in a bad way or like, but you just get that pump that adrenaline
Yeah.
begins to build when you're about to do that in a different frame of space. There was a time that I talked to Mike, about when he went from Michael, the guy we hang out with, to MJ. Okay, so there's a moment. I think after or around the first song or two that I showed him a video. We were at, I think, my condo, fam, and I sat down and I showed him, like, as best I could in slow motion. I said, okay, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but your face and your whole body, it's just like it shifts. It's like a transformer. And I
Mm.
was explaining to him, I was like, look, can you see? Because like I could literally, and I'm like, and then at the end of like somewhere in the last song, and he's like at the last moment, and he's like closing his eyes and kind of like letting it in, letting the crowd in. I could see it metamorphose back into himself again. And so I would show him that first part, and then I would show him, which was even more relevant, in the end part, because you get in so deep that you see the bigger difference of him. I know this sounds probably crazy. If I
No,
showed you,
it sounds. It's no. It sounds. I want to know what did he see
but
it?
but he's like, oh wow, I never saw that before. Yeah, how like that right there, and it's just a whole different like energy shift.
Mm-hmm.
The relaxing guy, the high energy vocal. His vocal is like fire when he sings, and his like big voice is made different when he talks. Not the way that's imitated, but the way in real life, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People change his voice when he's on the phone, and just a bunch of stuff. Is it echoing?
Yeah. Well, it keeps going like in out. I don't know if it's echoing to them, but just it was a little bit.
What? We need to go
I
down, back up. I don't know. I'll go down and come back up if it's necessary.
You sound great now.
Is it okay? I
Yeah.
don't. It could be my phone and the way the mic. I
Yeah,
don't.
you sound good now.
Okay. Let me tilt it up. There you go. Slightly. There you go. How about that? Is that okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
So these moments, like that, on this concert. So when you go in backstage, back to the early part of that, we go in, and you just want to see like, what's up, yo? How you doing? What's going on? How you feeling? It's crazy. Like, everybody's the green room is crazy right now. It's that moment, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, yeah, did you see so and so? And you know, he's geeked about, you know, different folks or whatever, and so it's like, it's all right, it's showtime. I gotta get in position. And so, you know, at some part of the show, um, at some part of the show, at some part of the show, he's in the audience and he's there watching the other artists perform, like Whitney. He's sitting next to Liz, and I think I was like right 2 rows behind him. It wasn't even like nobody in that area, us hanging out, whatever. And so we were, I think we were at the Waldorf, that particular,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and and you were like blocks away. You were
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah. I was blocks away and I was late. Like you didn't went to the green room. You didn't chilled with Mike. Y'all didn't talk to. You didn't talk to everybody. I'm still trying to get to New York. I finally got there, and you guys had saw probably half of a concert before I actually got to the venue.
you know, it was dope. It was surreal. It was fun. You know, I've seen so many of his shows at that point. So like, and this was a different variation of his concerts, and especially, you know, as a soloist and with brothers. So I think all those different variations, and you know, the part, I know the songs that he, you know, favorite and enjoyed doing, and and all of that. Uh, it's funny, you know, Brandy, and, and Chris Tucker always picking with the leg that always killed him. So there were so many great of those great moments that.
They Stacey still echoing a little bit, just a little bit.
Am I still echoing? Let me come out and then I come back in. Just stay
Okay.
right.
Okay.
I gotta just figure out how to. Okay.
I know, right? How you do that? So he's gonna come out and come back in. Man, I had no idea that he was in Michael's dressing room the day before. I was just trying to get to New York. He giving me. That's why I want to talk to him, because he got all the tea. So he's gonna go and come back in. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to just hear his perspective, because we experienced it together, but we had 2 different experiences. He was with Michael. Let's see. He gonna come back in. Maybe he's fixing his phone. Thanks for everybody joining. Manny is a breath of fresh air, a great storyteller. You guys are blessed. I had no idea. Thank you. It's my Whitney Houston hat in honor of Whitney. If you know me, you know that's regular. Honoring Whitney. Loving Whitney is just part of my brand. Okay. He's coming back. Hi from Amsterdam. Hey, Amsterdam. What's going on? Manny's back.
Back.
Yes. You sound great.
Okay, sounds better now, guys.
Yes. You sound, because we don't want to miss this, man. Like, I had no idea you was back in the back with all these people, and then you was with him. I had no idea. We had the same experience and different experiences.
Oh, completely a whole different. Yeah, you know, it's funny. So anyway, back to the concert whatsoever. So it was just dope. It was a great moments to have, and all of that. Is it better now? Is it?
You sound great to me. He said you sound like T-Pain, but I don't know. You don't sound like T-Pain to me. Or Barry White. You sound like Manny.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, I mean, like, you know, because I come to see my boy. I mean, mad respect to all the, come on, icons, and they're even bigger icons now than they were then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All the things they've accomplished. But I came to see my big bro, you know, and see him and spend time with you and Sylvia. And so we all come down for that moment.
Yeah. Mm.
So it says it's all right, but it's not bad, but it's a little.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so you get there late. You get there to the point he brings out this his old briefcase, which was a real briefcase for him, by the way. It was not like most people use props. That was a really old briefcase that he would use once in a while to pack his things in. And I always laughed about it. I'm like, you have like the most beat up suitcase in the whole ride. Go get the money, get the happy birthday, silver, they got the book bag on the bag with whatever. And this is before it was a thing, And he's the old 40s, 50s, 60s little briefcase that you would take on an old
Right. I saw a recent post where he said he loved the Goodwill. He loved thrift shopping. So when I saw that, this makes a lot of sense.
You have no idea how thrift shop you've been in. Like people I have no idea what people think, you know what I mean? And I guess most of the time I don't think about it or hear what people think because I know the real, and having spent that time, the mindset, the little fun, quirky things like, going to the antique stores, going to, Salvation, whatever, just love the, and, he was getting the one tassel, early, and looking at aspects and those little moments were inspirational, right? They were okay. So when you get ready to have this conversation with Michael Bush, the designer for his coat or whatever, and he was saying, there's this thing what I like, communicate, whatever you want with them, and then Mike, of course, hits it out the park and takes it, 10 times over the top, and it sounds bad again. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
I know it's hard because we're like in the mid of
I know these stories, and these stories just are flowing too.
Well, I don't even think about it unless someone asks. Like it's not like, we're doing other things, and so unless someone brings me in that moment,
right?
Those are not thoughts I think about daily. So start and they come on top of one another. The thoughts, and you start piecing things together.
They said we will endure it.
iPhone 11. I don't know.
I can hear you good.
I don't know what hold on, I'm in try one more time. Let me see.
Okay. Man, he was in the zone too, y'all. In the zone. But look how many times he's trying to get it right. I love him. He's always like that too. Always. Always. It's an echo. Okay. Well, several people then said it. Let's see. I think whatever his phone is sitting, it's echoing. So there is a reverberation. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll see. I know he's got stories for days, and it's true. Like if you don't talk to him, if you don't bring it up, he ain't thinking about that. He's thinking about what's going on right now, and he got so many different interests. Planes, literally. He flies planes. He does fly fishing. He does all kind of stuff. So he could literally have a conversation about like 10 different things that have absolutely nothing to do with one another. I mean, he's really like, he's an icon, a Renaissance man, down to earth. Yeah. Did you guys, on my post to interview him, there's a video where he's dancing with Michael in his living room because Michael lived with him for a little while after the burn from Pepsi. So that man got stories for days. And those are just Michael's stories. I mean, let's be clear. Emmanuel then met and worked with so many people. So many people. Yeah. I mean, I'm really the lucky one because he was friends with Mike. He's seen Mike many, many times. I'm the lucky one because that was my first and only time ever seeing Michael Jackson perform live. And it's all because of this man. It's all because of this man. Yay. They were
Okay.
saying maybe it was something that your phone is sitting on, the reverb.
Yeah, I changed it. How does it sound now?
You sound good.
Okay.
How you sound to y'all? Let us know.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Okay. Get him an Android.
No, we iPhone people.
No, I'm my phone till the wheels fall off.
Yes, me too. So far, so good. Awesome.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna rock it like.
That's. I was just telling them while you were away that like your Michael Jackson files. I mean, it's classic and huge, but that's just one file. You've met so many people and had so many experiences with so many different icons. You know.
That is so true. That is so true. I mean, obviously, he's a big dog.
Of course.
He's a big dog. Is it sound okay now? Is it back to being crazy?
You gotta talk some more.
Okay, so I hear an echo. I think I hear a little bit of an echo.
Okay.
But that's just me. But
I didn't hear anything though. Like I don't hear anything. We just have to see if they say something.
Okay. So So yeah. Yes, fresh cut just for you guys.
I know. I see it. I see it's lined up nice. I see it, boy. Them glasses is too fresh too. I like them glasses as well.
Thank you. I don't know.
We good.
It's a little bit of an echo, but anyway, so back to this vibe. So this concert is just dope. After it's all over with, we hang out for a moment, and it's just it's an epic moment. And you're there, Chris is there, my brother Chris, Sylvia, and I are hanging out, and we're just like enjoying this vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the Jacksons, the brothers came out and did a couple of numbers, and we like, what?
Yes.
Usher came on stage and started.
Chris Tucker having a ball.
And moonwalking and all of that. So like it was really, really we're in Madison Square Garden. The crowd is losing their freaking mind. The front row is the who's who of people scattered in toward the front row of Madison Square Garden. And so we're looking down and we're like, yo, that's yo, so we enjoying them, enjoying him. I'm of course, that's personified right there. That's locked. I already,
But I also remember seeing you walk around on the floor like the mayor. I think you were with Sylvia. You were walking around. Yeah, hey, yeah.
What's up?
So people were looking at you doing the same thing that you were doing to them.
It's home. You know what I mean? It's a different, like you come home. I'm coming home to New York. Like, You know, I can say that about Atlanta. I come home to Atlanta. I can say that in LA. I'm coming home to LA, and they're all homes, like, because we really had residents in all of those places. But home is where I was born. So you come home to see your people, and then you come and see your, you know, your celebrity folk, and then you come home and see your big bro, and he's back, Madison, I think. I'm not sure. It was just really, you know, starting to think about it. I think the first concert I ever saw Mike in was Madison Square Garden.
Wow. And when was that? Because that was only my first time, but
That
that
was
was, of
either in
course, yours.
'83 or '84.
Oh
His first
wow.
concert with the brothers, I think it was when he did it with Don King and what's my other brother, the promoter. And we met out. The first time I met the brothers was at okay, that had to been all of them. That was on Tavern on the Green, in
Mm-hmm.
Central Park. Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
so was that the Victory Tour?
I
It
don't
could it
know.
could have
It
been.
could have
I'm not
been.
sure. Um, Yeah, they could have been. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time when they did the presentation before that at Tavern on the Green. I think it was in '83 or '84. I think it could have been. And so that's when I met the rest of the brothers. I already had knew and hung out with Mike for all that other stuff that we were in Cali, and when he was shooting Thriller and all of that. But this time, you know, coming back to Madison Square Garden, and it's really like now, even as I'm talking about it right now, it's like I'm realizing that that was the first concert I saw with him. Not my first concert of ever, but my first concert with him and the brothers. And
Mm.
this was the last concert I saw with him and him and the brothers. I've seen the
Wow.
brothers on another concert, a New Year's party in Bahamas with you know, after Mike had passed, but that was the first. So it was kind of like right now it's like another full service full circle moment in my head of wow, that was
Mm.
okay, all right. So there's so many different moments that you like. So this is part of the all the highs right now is that we're
Yeah.
talking about of you coming in. The moment you come in, what do you see on stage? What is that moment, that micro moment you saw on stage?
The suitcase in the light and the darkness, because you know it was just like a spotlight on him, and you know the sound effects with the light and him opening up, like it was magical, you know. So if I'm gonna come to the 30th anniversary, and if I'm gonna miss everybody, the one person I'm glad I came in to see was Michael Jackson do his thing.
So that video clip that you showed on your teaser for this moment right here, and I looked at it and I remember that moment, not just that moment for that night, but I remember him playing with that moment. And I remember a little bit of that Charlie Chaplin vibe that he had is when he did the snapping of the finger, and then the light came on, and how deep he was with the orchestra that was above him, and they they were so they're all of them are fans, right? They loved him and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. They were so the band was so excited, they wanted to like start the music, right? And he always had to tell them on me, on my cue, follow me.
Nice.
When I there's moments I'm going to take, I need you to stay with me, and when I give you the signal, don't don't speed that up. Like, so I remember him always talking to the band and trying to help them to get that right. And so, you know, just those little moments was so meaningful, right? So he snapped
Mm-hmm.
it, sent the light to the spotlight to the stage where the um the glove and the suitcase was and the mic stand. And I always love that. He's got his back to the audience, his hands to his back with the white glove, and he's doing the Charlie Chaplin, you know,
Yes.
with the happy finger moment of he's excited because she's about to go do Billie Jean. And it's the moment is a freaking electric. You could the intensity, because everybody there knew what was about to go down. Everybody knew he's about to do Billie Jean. Like that.
Feel the electricity in the air. You can feel it.
If you don't do Billie Jean, we coming for you. That's everybody knew. Like, dude, like but he had such respect and reverence for that song that he knew that not only did he have to do it on every concert he's ever done,
mm-hmm.
but he also had to present it in a very special way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at it and I feel what he's thinking, and I feel the setup that he's done prepared for it, and then that's just kind of the outtake. So it's like what I feel of it as a friend and a fan and a bro, but also the work and the mechanics that went in it that I incorporate in that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then understanding the band portion that they play and not rushing the excitement, and then the audience is going ape, you know what?
Yes.
Like, quit teasing us. Send us
because
the
it was so slow, and that's why I put that clip in, because that's when I came. That's the moment that I got there.
Dude, everybody wants the fedora. Send the hat.
Yes.
Playing, right? Oh my God. And then he would tease you because he would take the hat off, throw it on the side of the stage. You know doggone well the hat would come out in the audience. Quit playing. Everybody and their mama is in position to they you know doggone well they, but one person gonna get it. But you're excited for whoever gets it.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Because the pandemonium that it brought and the excitement. So I think about those moments and how funny, you know, those things are, the performance, the showmanship. And so, yeah, that moment was big, and he's over there and he's doing the dance. He's doing the excitement part before it. Anticipation.
Yes.
And of course he delivers.
But since you've seen him in 1983 and then in 2001, like, you know, that was a complete circle. Like, what do you remember about the electricity of his performance when you first saw him at the Madison Square Gardens versus the last time you saw him?
Okay, so the first time it was going by way too fast. I mean, you know, it was going by way too fast. Okay, so the thing that I remember most about that, okay, isn't really just the concert. It's like what you're going through it's like what you're going through when you came to that concert was the excitement of knowing that you're going, right?
Yes.
And then you got to go through all the rigmarole of traffic to get to New York and get the ticket, and then the hotel, and trying to get there, and you know, so all of that is part of that experience, and you can't extract it from the concert because that's part of that moment and feel and vibe from it. You know, it's all part of it's like one muscle that's part of that memory. So the first thing that I remember about that is that we were at the New York Hotel. Okay. And Mom and the brothers and them, they went on in the van, right? And they're all like, you know, going ahead or behind. I don't know. I wasn't with them. But it was me and Mike, and we're in the New York police car, okay? And that was the first time I was ever in the back of a police car, okay?
Wow.
Keeping the buck. So, and he's doing this moment. Okay, this is what everybody sees later on, where he has this video montage footage of him doing he's got like, I don't know, 15, 20 cars and few motorcycle bikes, and we're in the car, and they're shutting down from the Hemsley Palace, New York hotel, from there to Madison Square Garden. The Pope is in town. They're shutting off every street and everything so that we can go. He can go. I'm just riding with him because people. I mean, don't want y'all thinking that I'm feeling extra special. I'm with him so I can say we. Okay, don't shoot me for the facts.
Listen,
Okay?
you were extra special.
Hey,
you in the
don't
car
shoot
with
me
Michael
for the
Jackson.
facts. I'm not feeling special like I'm that guy. I'm just feeling special because I'm with that guy. Okay, so because people come to you for the nuances of the language. Out of here. Okay, right. so we're sorry.
Nah, that's real. That's your Brooklyn. That's who you really are.
Let me reel that back. Let me reel that out.
That's real.
Let me reel that back. Okay, I'm about to go there, and I don't really need to. Okay, so,
look, you really don't though.
Get the out of here. Okay,
exactly.
So we're in this huge motorcade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motorcade. Of going from there to there, lights, sirens, all of that, and the camera's already at Madison Square Garden. And they're waiting for him to come out, and so they stop the car at the beginning of the block, and then he gets out and he runs with all the police behind him and around him, going up the street on the way into Madison Square Garden. So that's that footage that was happening at that moment when we got there. So I don't think I'd ever been in that kind of motorcade before. Okay. Don't think I'd done that one before. That was a new one for me. Okay, that was a new one for me. I don't need a motorcade. You know what I'm saying? It's the kid from Bed-Stuy, from LG. Don't necessarily need a motorcade. I appreciate it though. It was dope.
But you was in a motorcade. How about that? You was in a motorcade.
Oh, we was in it. We did the damn thing. I'm just gonna say what it is, and it was a hell of fun, and I'm like, okay, I can get used to this, you know what I'm saying? Manhattan traffic, are you serious?
Right.
We're talking about Manhattan traffic. Everybody knows that it's the worst, right? I think we're number 1 or number 2 in the states for traffic. I think between California might be number 1, Houston or New York number 2 or 3. I don't know. It's stupid. Then it was stupid. And so we're doing this. He's doing the slow-mo runs, and he's getting out. He's got all these guys behind him, and it's dope.
But where are you? If he's are you running with him? Where you at?
Hell no, I'm in the car. I'm in the back of the car. They gotta let me out. Shoot, I mean, I'm like, can I get out this Mickey 50? Like. So Mike, he does this great, awesome run and all this beautiful pick or whatever, and then he's like, "Where's Rob? Where's Rob?" And where's Baby Rob? I was like, okay. So he says, he's back in the car. We gotta get him, right? So they come back. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this up.
Wow.
But here's the thing. I forget that I'm in the back of the car because you can't open the back of the police car yourself. Somebody has to let you out.
Wow.
Right?
So you just sitting there.
But I'm in the back, and in middle is open. It wasn't like the divider kind of car. It's like when I could have gotten the front seat and copped out, but I'm looking at this magnificent situation that I ain't never seen before in my life, with the marching of all these officers going up the street to what's name. I'm not worried about it. you know, I'm with the popo right now at this moment, you know, and they doing this little footage scene. So I just took it as a moment of, you know,
Yeah.
filming or whatever, right? So I wasn't even tripping. I didn't realize I was locked in for that moment.
Wow. They had to come back and get
So
you.
they come back, open the door, get me out. Come on, let's go. Like we gotta, you know, we gotta go. I'm like, I'm not holding nobody up. You know, girl, I was expecting them to pull up in the doggone place. You know what I'm saying? You know,
You watching it like a movie.
right? Right. So I'm looking at all this thing happening. It's like it's a movement right now. I'm like, I've never seen police like run behind somebody without a club or a gun out. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
this is dope, and you know it's beautiful, right? So so we come out and you know, and he actually gets back in the car. He's like, where's okay, so we get back in the car, they go back up, we go up in the garden in the back little spot and get out, and then we go into the little area in the elevator or whatever we went. Okay, so that was the beginning of my moment of that first, I think, 84 concert. That was that
Mm.
moment. And that was obviously epic. So I'm like, what did just what did just happen? What did what did I just
It's because
see?
it went like this, right? It went so fast.
Like what was that? Like I didn't, but see, you don't, it wasn't until years later that you see the montage with him doing it with the New York police, him doing it in Russia, him doing it in Paris, him doing it in all these other countries in China. That's when you see the montage of that one moment. That's it's a collection of other montage moment. You like, oh snap, this is what was in his head at that moment, and you see what was going on. You're like, wow. So he
And you
made it
were a
into
part of that. And you were in New York.
in New York.
You were a part of the puzzle, man. Wow. On different continents, he doing the same thing. But that's your first time seeing him at Madison Square Gardens.
That
Yeah.
was I had never seen him in concert before that. It was just on TV, and it wasn't as him really as an adult. This is before anything else. This is like last time I seen him, he was a kid, you know, with the snake on the cartoon in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jackson 5, right? Yes, cartoon. But
remember that?
look, this is your first time seeing him, and this is how you get to experience it. Like most black men, you know, in the back of a cop car,
Right.
it's not this experience.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to figure that moment out because I'm like, okay, all right, and we want to go in the back of the car. Okay, all right. I'm like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm like, that's like the paddy wagon. Like, you know, back in the day, we called it the paddy wagon.
The
Back then,
paddy
you know what I mean?
wagon.
You
Oh my
had that,
God.
and then the little trucks for the kids that was truant, they had to get in the paddy wagon and you know, get dealt with or whatever. So come on, y'all know what I'm talking about is real. This is real stuff
Yeah.
that we're talking
I'm
about.
gonna go
No
on
kid.
YouTube after this and just pull up all of that. I'm pulling up all of that. I'm gonna pull up all of that. That is amazing.
Yeah. So it was, and that's the first time I had been in Madison Square Garden.
Your first time, and that's how you go
And
in a
this is how I
motorcade.
go. Right. So try and
Wow.
separate all of that and
Yes,
just think about,
that's the pre-show.
yeah. And then that's the pre-show. And then he gets on and all he has I forget what he called those big monsters on stage and whatnot. And that was crazy. It looked like some type of Star Wars movie or something, the way that the set was and those big machines and whatever that was. I mean, it was dope. It was like, whoa, and breathing fire and just it was beautiful. So all of that went back in my mind, and I know I'm digressing further and further back, but it's all part of that last moment before 9/11. All of
Yes.
that was part of that moment because we
Yes.
got to know that it's like full circle. This is that full
Mm-hmm.
circle moment,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And to have that full circle moment, I don't know, Mike. Okay, gotta get my thing to sit still. Okay, there you go. So to have that full circle moment, to think about the first one right now. Right
Yeah.
now is when I'm having that full circle moment. Not 9/11, not then. This moment right now, talking to you, is when I'm getting the full circle moment of,
Mm.
because again, I've not thought about it like that. None of that, you know. So this is me thinking about it as I'm communicating with you on the first time and the last time with him at MSG, and how each time was very like monumental.
Mm-hmm. Different but monumental, and at the same place.
At the same place. So here we are. This night is epic. It has to end. You know, we're trying to figure out what it was. I talked to Mike that morning, or that night. I can't even remember. It's all like together at this moment. But he had jewelry in the bottom of the tower, and he was supposed to go. He had a lot of jewelry in that tower, and he was supposed to go that morning to go retrieve some of that stuff while he was in New York, and he didn't, and
He
God,
just didn't.
he didn't go that morning. He was supposed to go that morning and go to his, like, I guess, to the safety deposit there. I never knew.
Yeah.
uh, and um so now the city is trying to get, all hell breaks loose.
How
So
did you first find out? How did you like? What was? We were in the same space, but what was your first indication on September 11th? You know, after you had talked to Mike, that September 11th was happening. It wasn't. It wasn't a TV show. It wasn't something that you know. What was your experience of learning we're being attacked? This is horrible.
so we're knocked out because we've been up all freaking night, having a good time, celebrating whatever the
Mm-hmm.
party is, the after party at hotel lobby, and we doing at that moment. So it's it's hella late, and we're having a good time. So the morning comes, and Sylvia has a early morning flight to get back to Chicago.
Okay.
She was trying to get me to go with her,
Oh.
and I was like, nah, come on, I'm in New York. Like, let me, I want to live for a moment. Let me soak up some of this New York air right now. Let me, I'm gonna take a flight. I might take a flight tonight or tomorrow. I know for sure. But what I damn sure ain't doing is getting up first thing in the morning and leaving New York.
That's not happening.
That wasn't even in the equation. Uh, so she was like, all right, so we had like the suites right there, right next to each other, in the what's the name? So got up, saw her off, and got her to her car or whatever, and she's out. So I'm going back to my room because I'm chilling. I mean, we got like this crazy, I got like a crazy 2-bedroom suite with the living room and all of that and whatever. And
It was very, very nice. Very, very nice.
it was the dopest. The bed sleeps very well there. Okay, they,
And this is at the Waldorf people.
they get them
Waldorf Astoria. Come on.
at the water for a reason. It sleeps very well. It's very comfortable. Room service is on time like a mother sucker. Mike, Michael was one of our concierge guy. Michael was my guy. I always stayed there, um, and we could get tickets at any um, play event in New York that sold out. That was my guy. That was my. So why am I leaving? Like, isn't there a show tonight I can go see or whatever? Or I mean, I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do, but leaving was not one. And so that morning, but so that morning she's bounced. I'm getting back in bed because it's still extra early. It's like 6 7 something, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. It's really, really early. She had the first flight out to Midway, I think. And I went back to sleep, to a hard sleep. It was good, beautiful. Yes. And I get a phone call. And I think it's my mom and my sister. And they're frantic. And I'm like, what's up? What's going on? Where you at? Where you at? You know, turn on the TV. Turn on the TV. I'm like, I'm in the room. I'm at the Waldorf. I'm in bed. What do you mean where I'm at? No, turn on the TV. I'm like, huh? Turn on the TV. I opened the window. First thing I did was open the window, looked outside, and I'm seeing smoke and stuff that's going down. This is the first building just got hit. And I'm turning on the TV, and we saw the play of this 9/11 situation. Just got real. You know what I mean? What? Is this America? Like, this is another country? Like, this don't happen in America. So, like, because that looks like the Twin Towers, but, you know, they have a sister one in another state, their country somewhere. Like, it's like, no, it's New York, it's da. And so my brother Chris was working at Showtime. I called him up. I'm like, yo, bro, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I saw the building. Like, yo, we about to die. He's at the office. Showtime's like, yo, come over to the Waldorf. You know, great location. Like a building that all the presidents, and because it's American hotel at the time, and this is protected. Like CIA, FBI, all those guys, three-letter organizations, they protected that building, right? So they were right there in.
And how far was the Waldorf from the Twin Towers?
We're like the east side. Ours is like the lower west, right? It kind of comes like that. So we're further away from it. But when the second building got hit, all the debris came all the way to where we were. Like air, it was raining debris. And it was dark, like a cloud. So, you know, like I'm doing like dumb stuff. I went down thing, I just got food from the local bodega, some whatever foods at whatever the stands, some drinks, brought it back to the room. And but when I came out, I ran into Sherry Belafonte. And I'm like, Sherry, what's going on? And she, Manny, how you doing? Man, this is crazy. And we just had that quick moment of us, you know, trying to figure this out. It's just like real. We like confused, you know? And she was just trying to get, by this time, all the subways, they had stopped all the subways. They had stopped every bridge that left in and out of Manhattan. They had tried to put they tried to ground every plane that was in the sky over America. Like stuff that I don't remember that ever happening ever in the history of New York. We're looking at the devastation from the building. We saw the building that the plane live, because by the second one, we saw the plane go through the live.
Yep. I remember that. We watched that live.
Yo. Speechless. I'm complete total numb and surprised and not knowing what to think, feel, and do, and just like what's going on. It was devastating at the highest level in our all those people that was trying to get out, people jumping out of windows. This was on live TV, Father. People trying to get the fire that was department, police, all these people trying to come in, not making it out. Like,
it was something. And you grew up, your mom was always, you always talk about how protective your mom was with you. And I just wonder what it was like for her protecting you all her life. And now one of the biggest things to ever happen since Pearl Harbor, and she's in Atlanta and you're in New York, blocks away from September 11th.
Well, number one, as soon as any of this stuff happened, number one, they're feeling horrible about it, and they're feeling devastated, and they're in complete like how do you even wrap your arms around this mentally? How do you even
yeah, exactly.
How do you even so I have people and loved ones that are in it, like that never came home, like you know, so because you don't even know that until later that who's missing and who's not. It was that of like who made it, who didn't make it, you know, that the mystery and how many died and what do you do, what can you do? There's nothing in mayor, not the governor, not the president, nobody. That moment. So here we come from this high the night before. Now we below ground moment.
Yeah.
So my brother comes to my hotel immediately. So we're in the hotel room together trying to figure out what to do, what's the evac plan? What are we going to do? All the bridges are closed, all the trains are closed. We can't get back into Brooklyn where he was staying at the moment. Had to just kind of sit still. And luckily, the Waldorf, like, you know, they didn't know what. Where's anybody go? You know,
right.
You know, there's no can't like go anywhere.
Well, what about Sylvia? Because she went to get on the. Did she ever get on the plane?
When the moment that she landed, she found out.
So she was able to get to Chicago.
It was in the air, happened, and they allowed them. You know, that wasn't a long flight, and so she was able to land in Chicago, Midway, I think, and when she landed, boom, she hit me. I told you she came with me, and I just felt it. I'm like, how the hell was I supposed to know that?
None of us knew that. None of us could have known that. None of us. Oh my.
There was no way. We're feeling good, just like a great moment, kind of red moment from last night. Now, all hell has broken loose, and we in a situation. But this is where you come back, because now you bring that a different level to what's happening next. Now tell everybody where your thought was and what you did, because that when you're around your people and your loved ones, and at that moment, especially at that moment, you want to hug up on whoever's with you, whoever you love, and your safety or your false sense of security comes in being with your loved ones. I had my brother, I had you, I had the people that are familiar faces that I knew, and the staff of Showtime at my suite.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what you.
Well, when I woke up and we witnessed that second plane hitting. I'm so glad you shared everything that you went through, because even though we were there together, like everything that you're saying to me right now is news. Like I had no idea that all of that went on for you.
Right.
And it was just like, I just could not believe what was happening. And we literally are watching in suspended animation this second plane hit. But at the same time, you just go to the window and you see all the debris. So we're watching it, but we're also experiencing the effects of it at the exact same time. But like what I would like to say, what I would like for people to know is, first of all, I never would imagine being in a situation like that. But if you had to, can I just say that being with Emmanuel Lewis was the most comforting ever. Like, you and Chris, you guys were calm. Like, you literally did go and get food and water. Like, I just don't know, that old schoolness from Ma Lewis, rest in peace, came through, because I saw just this from you, this just steady, even though it was in the midst of something that none of us had ever experienced ever, and just trying to get a hold to my mom, but the circuits were busy, so I wasn't able to get through. I finally got to her. She, knew that I was okay. And then it was like, what's the next move? Because I think we were headed to Chris's house, trying to get to Brooklyn. And I think at some point, I don't know when, the subways did open up, not to come into New York, but to go out. And it was the first time I've ever been on a subway anywhere where it was completely quiet. You could hear a rat piss on carpet, because everybody was scared. Like, what could happen on this subway right now? We just saw 2 planes go through 2 buildings blocks away. So how is it not going to happen on this subway ride to Brooklyn? We don't know.
Wow.
We have no idea.
Wow. That right there. It's like it's heavy, like just the feeling of it, thought of it, the doom. And like, if you ever was to pick doom, you ever was to pick your worst, and what that was like at the end of the day, look up in the New York sky at that moment, and you couldn't, because all that debris would be in your face and in your hair and in your body, and you're getting, I don't even want to say what was, what all of that was, but you're getting an explosion of all those elements in the air, spreading out all over, yes, and covering up every moment that we're outside.
How were you able to be so calm? Like, what was going through your mind? This was your city.
That was only the exterior. All I could think about at that moment was the people that we were with. Where are they? Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that there's other stuff going on. I don't control any of the other stuff, but the people that's with me, where are they? I need people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where are they? How do I need? I wasn't looking for anybody else to help me out of that situation. All I was looking for was where people at. Let's galvanize together. We'll put our own heads together on how we're going to get out of Mickey Ficky. The worst part was we're in New York. The best thing about it, we were in New York. Mm-hmm. So I didn't necessarily, even though all of that was going on, still felt okay. All hell's breaking loose, but I'm at home, so you know it's not going to be a place where we can't maneuver and we don't know the city and we don't know where to be to, get out of harm's way. And, how can we get, to here? If we can get to the Brooklyn Bridge, we can maybe walk over. If that, because we were thinking that we were going to have to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay.
Okay. That's where my mindset was at, because you couldn't get, they closed the bridge, right?
Yeah.
For a minute. And before you could walk on, then they started allowing people to walk over the bridge, right?
Yeah.
But before then, shut it down because they were looking for stuff. They were trying to, not that they knew what that was going to look like. They shut everything down, and cops was everywhere, and there was FBI and
Yep.
the this and the, all of that. And I saw the people in the hotel scrambling that were with suits and coils from their ears or whatever. So like it's a different, I've never seen them scramble before. I've seen them walk with purpose, but they've never scrambled before. So that gave me pause to, okay, all right, reading body language of people that's supposed to be control situation. And so really trying to, galvanize people. And so having you and Chris in the vicinity gave me a little ease. My bro is good.
Yes.
I don't know where everybody else is. I didn't know where Mike was. But I heard something about them getting over the bridge from New Jersey. These buses that went over the Jersey. I saw that on the news. And in my mind, I knew that was Mike. If there's anybody getting out of New York at that moment, that would definitely be Mike.
Gotcha.
Before we had the whole motorcade thing.
Right.
Anybody getting out of New York, he knows
it was gonna be him.
They're getting out, right? And
yeah.
I rode from New York wherever. And I'm not even gonna go into the thing where was trying to get on the bus with them and trying to get back. I wasn't even looking to Mike for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Looking for Mike to pull me out of the situation. And that never even dawned on me that he get out and I could go with it. It never dawned on me. If he's going to LA, he's probably going to go, straight down, what's the name, and he's going to go past Georgia, could have dropped us off and kept on moving. Never even thought of that. That was not, I know my people. I know my family. They come for your boy. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing that was like, because when we were on the subway and it was super duper quiet, I also would like to say, in the midst of this tragedy and the quietness on the subway train, somebody still turned around and said, "Is that Emmanuel Lewis?"
You're so funny.
They still recognize you in the middle of being attacked, okay? And when we finally got to Brooklyn,
I would never. Number one,
say that again.
I would never even remember that. Just so
I was cracking up on the inside. I was like, no, they didn't. It was super quiet, and they was hey, is that it? I was like, just hope we don't die. Yes, it is.
Hadn't been on this train in a while before then, but it was like, I ride train all the time, as a New Yorker. But so we met you. Did you come to the hotel? You came to the hotel.
Yeah. And I was with you. I was with you the whole time. That's why I was like, wow, like, I don't know what kind of extra Brooklyn, spidey sense, you got, but you were calm. You, like you said, when you said I wasn't even thinking about Michael, the reason I feel like you wasn't because you was just right there at the present moment thinking about who was right there.
When I saw on the news, and they were showing this helicopter view of they had shut down the bridge, but they had let these two like tour buses, like whatever, like buses go across the bridge. And in my thing, without the doubt, in my
Mm-hmm.
1000%, I thought that was mine.
Yeah.
That's Mike.
Yeah. He's the only one that was going to be able to get through something like that.
That's Mike right
there. Mm-hmm.
Out, and that's them right there. So I'm like, he's good. So I didn't even think anymore about. I knew he was gone, like from that moment of out of New York. And so my thought was, okay, I gotta get to Brooklyn because they don't want Brooklyn.
You knew that. You knew that.
They don't want Brooklyn.
When was the moment that your mom made the decision? Oh, I'm coming to get my boy. I don't care what 9/11, September. I don't care what they talk about. I'm about to get on the road, go to Brooklyn, check on my boys, and bring my son back. Like what? When was that decision made?
First of all, what's up, Laverne? How you doing? Oh my God, haven't seen you in forever. So first things first, we needed to get out of Manhattan. Nobody knew if there's more to come.
Right.
Nobody knew the natural thought and progression in our mind is that they were going to hit the next building. If there was a third one, they were going to hit the Empire State. That's what we were thinking that was going to happen. It wasn't until sometime in that afternoon that they allowed the train to start moving, because people that was working was away from their family, their loved ones, and their kids and whatnot. They got to now allow once they realized what was going on, they got to allow people to get back to their families and get the heck out of New York for those who are not living. So I find out later that there was a warning that was given to the president before that attack was going to happen. And I'm sure, like anything else, you get enough, doomsday, messages or warnings and shrug it off. They literally gave them heads up that was going to go down, and they dropped the ball and up with it. So I'm not trying to blame nobody, but that's a serious moment in retrospect to think about. Did that even have to happen? Okay, let's move back forward. It's happened. It's history. It's not a doggone thing anybody can do about it. So here we are. We're on to Brooklyn. It's you, me, I think it's just the three of us.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was just the three of us. Everybody split out and they're going their separate way to get back home. Three of us going back to Bed-Stuy. And the Verrazano was all the other cannot drive over the bridge. You can either walk over the bridge or you could use the train. And so we got the train as soon as it happened, jumped on that thing, and got there. A little sigh of relief of they were safe.
Yeah.
But that was broken. How do we? What's next? you know, what's next? How do we move on from this moment? What do we, you know, what do we do? You know, they're direct traffic. You can't even go near at that. If you weren't already, couldn't go near. They were moving for you to go this way and that way. So there are people moving Manhattan right now. And we get to New York. Mom gathered all of my stuff
Mm-hmm.
that was left. My sister and my oldest brother. And she got in my truck, my SUV, and they drove all the way from Atlanta to New York, which is like 12, 14 drive. And right as they're getting near the Verrazano, they opened,
Mm.
you know, because it's like, and traffic's at a standstill. So right, I'm the next day, right about, because they left sometime, I don't know, they were there in the they were there the next morning, but by the time they opened that bridge, they were at the bridge. Came.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Where was your where were you with all of this?
I was just so happy to be with you and Chris. Cause y'all was like so calm. Like y'all was so calm. And I could not believe your mom was like, she was there. Like, I mean, it seemed like she was there so quick. Like it had just happened. But as soon as it was possible for her to be there, she was there. I'd never seen anything like that ever. I was like, wow, you know.
And it was wild because we were there, and my mom literally brought the whole family together for that moment.
Yep, I
So
remember.
here I am with my mother and all of my mother's house kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
sides, not my father's side, just my mama's side siblings. So I'm here, and I'm like, wow. I don't remember the last time we were all together.
Mm.
So it took like this crazy moment, and mom just said, "Get in the car. We're going to go. We're going to go get." Uh, and so when they showed up, I didn't know who was in the car. I didn't care. Come get a brother. But so it was so surreal.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Got there so quick.
She did.
I don't know.
What was that? How was she able to burn them streets like that?
They were like slow, doing 100 on the highway.
Seriously.
So she was there so quickly. Uh, and it was just a moment. They got out of the car and hugged each other. And you were part of that hug. You were part, we just did like a big old like bullet,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What did it feel like for you to be reunited with all of your mother's kids after a moment like that just happened?
I felt the moment as far as it feeling, knowing that it was special, and damn, I had everybody together. I felt that immediately, like, damn, she got everybody in the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, we all going home. Like a mother, you know, hen or whatever. Like she put the wings on. We're all going, you know, kind of like,
Yeah.
and like all of us grown. I'm a baby of the bunch. We all grown. Like, okay, mom.
You were her, y'all was all her babies. That's all that mattered.
Real. And I'm the baby boy, so I'm like, you know, we in tow. So all I can remember was we were right there on the corner. I went to the little bodega, got me a hero and some drinks for the ride back.
Mm-hmm.
That was my last hero I've ever had.
Really?
was from 9/11. That was my last hero. Because there's no other brand name, right? That was my last hero.
Wow.
9/11, 9/12, New York.
And you know what? Like, I've never been to New York since that day. Since we left.
Really, I I can understand that.
I mean, I don't, I don't know if it's subconscious or whatever, but
That,
I just haven't been, huh?
that was smart. I mean, I've been, many times since then, and it was just this eerie feeling. I didn't even want to go near Ground Zero. It was just this eerie feeling of I don't even know how to explain that, but I just felt that loss in those moments, and
Mm-hmm.
couldn't even I couldn't even bring myself to go near that moment because I know who the different, not everybody, but like people that I knew that they lost their lives on that area right there.
Mm.
I didn't even want to face that next level of empty, that next level of gut punch, that next level of damn, that next level of realization, that next level of horror. I didn't even want to feel that. So I wouldn't even go near it.
Mm-hmm.
First few times that I went back, because it was just an overwhelming feeling. And the very first time I went back, it was just felt so eerie to me
Mm.
of having to go in at, and it's like you looking up this, like it's so weird. Like you go in and especially from JFK, LaGuardia. We leave LaGuardia, go into Manhattan, and and the first thing we start doing is we start up in the sky, and we're looking at where the planes at, what's going on. Now you're being hypersensitive to
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. You're looking at people strange, like they got a bomb, or everything is like
Mm-hmm.
like I got X-ray vision, like I'm some operative and I'm trained to know what I'm looking at, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, it's good to know that I wasn't like crazy, that you did have some type of feeling
yeah,
when you went back there after that.
you know, it was definitely different. It was a a different feeling for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Different feeling, and you just the overwhelm of it. So I want to include you in your feeling and thoughts. Where did you go after, like in New York? So you stayed with Chris, and then what did happen? What did you?
Well, I came back to Atlanta with you guys, but you know
Right,
that the airports were shut down
right.
like for probably almost a week. So I was at the Lewis's. I
Right.
was eating Mama Duke's food and everything like that. It was great just because it felt like, to have gone through something like that, but to be with such good people afterwards, you know, makes you just feel safe and like all cuddly in a blanket or whatever.
So that was that moment. You was at Chris spot. I was at Chris spot. Mommy and everybody drove up right in front of the his apartment there, and the reunion was like super real. We were just like, it's like when we held each other, we just want to touch each other and just like, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not looking at, they're looking to see if I'm okay, and I'm looking to see if they're okay. They're in another, like, they like 4 or 5 states across, and
Right.
we're all like, up.
Yeah. Yeah. It took, and then like when we finally got to Atlanta, I was there for a week, and then I finally was able to get on a flight, and because my hometown is Springfield, small, so I had to go to St. Louis, and I had to stay there with another friend because like everything was still crazy. And then I think I took a train from St. Louis back home, and I was like, wow. And in that um, travel time, of course, getting on the plane, scared to death because after this just happened, and while I was waiting, in the airport to be picked up, I heard on the news that Whitney Houston had died. I mean, she didn't, but because of her appearance on the Michael Jackson stage, the Inquirer and all of the tabloids had said that. So it was just crazy,
Jersey girl. She already had once she got over the thing and she was at home in Jersey. So
Yeah.
like
Yep.
people didn't understand that aspect of it. But anyway, but it was so even the ride, usually the ride from New York used to ride back and forth from New York to Atlanta all the time. But even the ride back home was just different. I don't
Yeah.
know. How would you explain that ride? Because I was like in a fog. I was in the game. I was just like, I don't even know. How do you?
I mean, it was a fog. It was like a bad horror dream that we didn't die at the end of the movie. We got to escape. But look what the heck we went through, and it was still going on. People were still covered in soot. People were still lost. It wasn't over. We were getting out, but it was still moment by moment in real time going on. So yeah, of course we were in the fog. It was still happening. It was still happening.
Well, you fam, you already know. Once you put your feet under the Margaret Lewis table and you eat grits and eggs in the morning, supper at night, yeah, that was it. So
You had the best mom. She could cook. She made me eat stuff I would never eat. She like, nah, just try that. I'll tell you what it is later. Just try it. I tell you what it is, you won't eat it. Just eat it. Now I'm gonna tell you what you
like
ate.
he was like, number one, where's Wendy's and how far? Uh,
Manny knows me. He's like Wendy's, Adidas, and Whitney Houston. That's it.
you get those three things right, you actually might be all right with Q. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You'll be all right with Q, but don't forget about which number she want off of Wendy. Never change. Get the right size, Adidas, and anything of Whitney, picture, video, blah blah blah. Don't really give a just play quick. We'll settle her butt right on down.
Right.
Give her salmon from Wendy's, some Adidas, and Whitney. It's Christmas on any given day.
Any given day, Wednesday, Tuesday, it's Christmas. Like
Already
I'm
know
I'm so easy. I'm so easy and consistent because it ain't changed. It hasn't changed.
the smell in the air, Manhattan. It was
Yeah.
like cinder, but not like wood, like brick, like burnt. I don't even want to go there. That's why I kind of skipped over that, Laverne. I'm sorry. I know I should be a little bit more descriptive, but I didn't. I want to be respectful. But um, you feel the gravity of that moment, and
Mm-hmm.
you understand what just happened, and you just had two buildings go up in flames and imploded, and that building is on fire for hours, and it's like we're in the people are being cremated, basically
Alive.
alive in that building, and all of that is in the air.
Mm.
So I'm, you know, I was those are the thoughts, and I just want to be very respectful and kind of glaze over that. I mean, you know, these are people, these are loved ones, these are friends. So you just wanna, it's the real, but at the same time, you wanna. It was doomed. Is the best way that I can describe it without being insensitive.
Right.
And and you knew it, felt it, and you looked on yourself and in your hair and on your clothes. Our clothes smelt like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I had on, threw it away.
Mm.
I didn't even want that. I didn't even want that to stay with me ever, 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 ever. I don't want that smell ever on you
Mm-hmm.
of what that felt like and what that smelled like, and knowing that you're possibly covered in remains.
Mm.
So so those moments are so super real, and trying to I'm literally seeing that, like right now I'm literally seeing that, and I'm as I scan my face across my room is completely null and void. I'm looking in New York from the street, and I'm visually looking and seeing what's going on and how we look and feel, and covering our mouths and nose as we walk down the street. Um, my brother's got my suitcase, and we're going, you know, to the nearest subway so we can get our connecting subway to get back to Brooklyn. So it's like there's this whole other feeling and vibe that I don't want to even speak on, because it's like a menacing, um, it's a menacing feeling, and I'm not trying to. I don't want to share that aspect of it, but you know it's real. You know it's there. You know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it is. Everybody, you got to be like either completely. If you weren't there, I get it. For those that don't know, whoever wasn't physically there, it's a whole different. It's a story that you look at, but you know, but being there and smelling it and feeling it, and the anxiety and all these notions of what's next, and is there more. They tried to hit the Pentagon, all that, all these things, tried to go over Pennsylvania, they tried to hit that. There were other planes. There's more than two planes that was in the air
Mm-hmm.
trying not to crash. So there were so many more out. They were able to do this. They learned how to fly flight school in Florida. The royal family, or the president of of the African country where those guys are from were in Florida. I don't know if they got the right. They just there were other planes that left New York, that left
Mm.
America, to get certain people out of the air, and the rest of the U.S. was grounded.
Mm. Mm. Did you know of anybody personally that, perished in 9/11?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We didn't know at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
we were trying to figure out what we were going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
and but a week later, a month later, we getting in these reports. You know
Mm-hmm.
what, who, and neighbors. Uh, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
just yeah. That Florida flight school. So that's where they were learning to fly, and that's what they learned. I mean, going from
Mm-hmm.
you know, those big commercial
Yeah.
is crazy. So
And I mean, like you have, you know, some people may not know, some people may, but you've actually flown before, like you've been the pilot. So you have a whole other perspective of what it would be like for something like that to happen as well.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, wow, that yeah, it's amazing. Um, as someone who and you know soloed and stuff in planes and stuff like that. Um, I'm not a kamikaze by, but I'm not like the guy that's going to jump out of a perfectly good plane. If it's in my, you know,
Mm-hmm.
land it like I took off it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to get in a plane that you've learned to do, to fly it, take off. Taking off is easy. The landing is just where the trick comes into play, right? Um, so to get in a perfectly good plane and to put your life because
Mm.
you want to at somebody, whatever was the reason why they in the first place. Nobody really talks about it, but
Mm-hmm.
when you know how to let what your thought process was, you want to hurt people, you want to hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and you want the most impact in which to do it.
Yeah.
That mindset and like as
Yeah. Wrap your brain around.
yeah, that
Mm-mm-mm.
if I take off, believe me, I want to land.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Man, like
I
I feel so blessed that you like have shared your perspective because I didn't know any, like we went through it, but we didn't ever talk about it.
never talked about it until this moment. We
20 years. And today's 20 years.
You and I did this whole thing, and I'm there in New York with your doggone monkey behind.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault. I'd have been in Atlanta. So I'd have never even known.
You sure would though. But let me tell you, you handled it like a real champ. Like, I mean, I don't know how you can predict somebody could handle something like that, but y'all did.
Q, first of all, I love you for that. That just shows you how people are how we hung in there together uh, and made that um, the worst possible nightmare that anyone can imagine into there are other people who have much horrible stories than we do about trying to get out of there.
Exactly. Exactly.
And our story sounds like it was a walk in the park.
Yep.
Mentally, it was exacerbating because we didn't know, you know, we
Mm-mm.
there's no certainty of anything. But the plan was, hey, Brooklyn, mom pick us up, or rent a car and meet us or whatever. Didn't know. I, you know, couldn't get a private flight out because all the planes were grounded. Couldn't get a
Yep.
flight out of New York. All the planes were grounded. And it was grounded for like a week or more.
Yep.
I don't
It
even know
sure was.
what it was grounded for.
Yep. It was.
So it was like, what to do? I mean, you know, we still got a, you know, life still for those that are survivors. We gotta go. We gotta do the next thing, whatever that is. But listen, they swooped us. We got
Yeah.
stuck. I think I got in the front seat. I got shotgun.
Yeah. 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 Listen, I was just happy to get a ride. Okay. I was just happy that we were being hoisted out of there.
I
You
got.
know,
I'm surprised I didn't drive. I think was it Roscoe or Mom that was driving? Roscoe.
maybe so. I can't remember who was driving.
I think
But I just know that she was there and lickety, like, man, I couldn't believe how quick she was there.
I couldn't either. I could listen. I mean, the moment she got to the battle zone, God says, "Go get your son. Go get Q."
Mm. Yes, Laverne, the two King, they definitely, yeah. I would call, I would tell your mom that too. I'd be like, I don't know what you did, but you raised them boys right. I said they definitely took care of me, and I appreciate it.
That wasn't nothing to think about.
Right, but you say that because you've been you your whole life. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole world out there that don't operate like you. So I have to acknowledge that. And I was so grateful that I have the opportunity to tell your mama that.
I mean, so the thought process I have is I'm supposed to tell your mama that you in New York. See,
say that again.
Down too. Don't act like it don't go the other way around. I'm gonna tell your mother that I left you in New York. That's what. Is there a possibility that was a thought? Yes, it's coming. No, well, what happened was, said, and what? Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes.
But I'm just saying, I'm talking about from the beginning to the end, just like how you described Michael in the motorcade and like all of that, like that's you, like how you take care of people. Like you take care of people. You don't just, yeah. You take care from the beginning to the end. I don't know if that was already in you, Mike rubbed off on you. I don't know. But I think it's the Miss Lewis. I think it's Mama Lewis.
Family, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Especially when, in critical situations, we can call that critical.
Yeah.
We galvanize and we lick our wounds, we cuddle up and we move forward. We move on
Right.
in whatever capacity that we can. Sometimes we got to take a step back to take a step forward, but whatever.
Right, but that was an isolated moment that the world is remembering today. But what I just want people to know, which that's you all the time. That's you all the time, taking care, being cool, making the front and the back match. Like that's Emmanuel all the time.
I wish you were here in Atlanta yesterday. Okay.
Oh Lord.
I wish.
What great moment did you experience?
So I missed HBCU night at the Braves last Friday. I missed it. I couldn't go, trying to whatever. I couldn't. So, we did what we did. Mm-hmm. I recreated that moment in the box suite. And of course I had suspects. I got dubbed.
No, you didn't.
Of course, my goddaughter, Salea, had to I had to get it.
Angie B, come on.
Vicky, you already know. We got Quencie up in there. And then we had the president of the university, Dr. Fred, so we had to get our little alumni vibe situation.
Y'all must have had a ball. We
did.
Because if you around Manny, it's going to be fun. It's going to be laughter. It's going to be good food.
The daiquiris flowing.
What? See, I love it. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm the pro-am liquid libator. I'm gonna make up some words here. I was the bartender.
Oh, for real?
Okay, now here's the fun thing about me being the bartender.
Yeah, I really want to hear this.
The fun part about me being a bartender is that I don't drink.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
So your drinks are going to be extra stiff because I have no rest. I have no.
You have them loose up in there.
I have no rational process of there's no supposed to be more of this and less of this.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever it is, trust me, you're going to feel good when you leave because
They was lit.
it is amateur hour, but it will look professional. I got the little umbrellas and the paper straws and the little fruit. I will make it look professional. So that's why I call it pro-am. It looks, but the taste, good Lord, boy, to make you stand on your tailbone.
Well, wait, what was the drink comments? What were the drink comments?
Oh, this good.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
One more now. Give me one more. Okay? We got more on that bitch over there. Bring that picture back on.
Somebody don't drink making great drinks. Oh my gosh. I believe it. I believe it.
Dude.
Y'all don't know, man. Manny got so many skill sets. Like the man fly fishes, he flies planes, he cooks.
I love that. I do cook. I love fly fishing. I started that, and when I was in where was I? I think I was in Colorado. Yeah, first time I went was in Colorado. And that was for the Special Olympics. I think in the 80s, 88 or something. Whenever the Special was, that was my first time fly fishing. You can do that with a fly. I thought that was dope.
And you kept it up. Like,
yeah, I have, right? In the next room, I'm on fly rod. You know, working on it.
Because I think I seen something where you was in the Bahamas not too long ago.
Yes.
Big fish.
Yeah, we got some big ones out there. We got big mahi. We got some big what's bass fish? I can't even think what the name of the one was, but yeah, big boys out of Nassau, yeah, Nassau and off the and Exuma and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't even seen these kind of fish ever. Even like the kind of fish that I was like, they need to go back in the water. They look very exotic.
Listen. Do
y'all eat them or you throw them back? Do you throw them back?
We eat them.
I love it. Like this man, I don't know what to call you, like Renaissance. I don't know, because at the same time, you know, like that greasy spoon on the corner that's in the cut that might have some ribs or something like that. Don't nobody is out the way. Then he knows how to kick it at the club, listening to jazz along the way. I mean, man, there's only one you.
You know too much about me.
But I love it. But you still ain't got to be cool, down to earth, like loving, spread joy. You can have all of those skill sets and still not be, you know, who you are. And so that's what I want people to know. Like September 11th was a moment in time, but you're that all the time.
So those moments, they take you there, right? Those moments, the pre with the Michael, have the high, wake up in the morning, we get the low of the lows, and then we have all these other nuances in life that we're dealing with. And it's been, what, 30 years now? I mean,
what, today marks 20 years since September 11th.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I had to, you know, like I said, I it's not like something I just thought about, but I did write a blog about my experience, but like, I was there with him and I don't know what his experience was. Cause, you know, just because you're there together don't mean you experience the exact same thing, you know.
You're right. You're right. We were, once we got together, it was very much the same. But
Mm.
the moments leading up to it,
Right. I didn't know any of that. None of that. None of that. So I am so grateful that you were willing to share on, you know, such a momentous day, you know.
I'm so happy that I did not go to Chicago on it,
Mm.
because had I done that, it would have made it very difficult for you to be there, and force you to stay with Chris, and that's your bro. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But still,
wanting to,
your presence added so much more.
it's great being with us and hanging with my mom, and you know, you part of the family and all, but it's another thing to, when you got home, you got that extra hug too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you want
Yes.
that same, you want that same hug that, you know, that was waiting for you on the other side, and she want to touch you and make you
Right.
feel or whatever, hey, your hand, wrist, or whatever. No, like, you know how parents, you know, are. So yeah, so it's, I don't know. I don't even ever think of myself in what I do and my things I enjoy and how, whatever. My sister lovingly calls me E Slash. So that was a nickname slash rap name I would give myself, because she says you do so many things. So you're Slash, you know, you cook, you chef slash pilot slash, you know,
Seriously.
actor slash entrepreneur slash, or whatever calls me slash when she talks about whatever I, so I don't even name it, I, you know, or think of it, to be honest. You know, we're always in the moment, you know that.
Yeah, well, I know that because of you, because you are in the moment type of dude, but you be in the moment at the box suite of a football game. Like, you be in the moment in the Nassau, Bahamas fly fishing. You be in the moment flying above your house in a plane, in the motor coat. Like, you know, I can see why you don't think about stuff. You got too many moments. You got to be in the now.
You know, speaking about that, which is fun, and I think about it, my mom obviously passed. And one of the fun things I enjoyed, I don't know, I feel really bad. One of the things I enjoyed, my mom always said, you can do anything you put your mind to. And she said it enough times to me for me to believe it.
Mm.
So I would challenge myself to find out how true that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said to her, Mama, I want to fly. I want to be a pilot. And then I looked at her, because she said I can do anything I put my mind to.
Yeah.
So now I'm telling you I want to be a pilot. And I know in your head, she's thinking, oh, hell no.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But now
I'm challenging you.
Now it's not something I'm doing just to challenge her. I really want to do it. But me saying it out loud is now going to challenge her motherly sense of, like, baby. So I first want to learn how to fly a helicopter.
Mm.
And thinking of her in these moments. She says, well, let me sleep on it. Let me pray on it. Okay. A week later, you finish sleeping and praying on it. I think she's thinking, well, if he don't mention it no more, if he doesn't, oh my God.
But that was not the case, because you was going to mention it again.
Oh, heck yeah. I was serious. I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mentioned it to her again. Mom, I'll tell you what. Let's fly down. Let's drive over to the place where the planes are, and let me look and see what the planes look like, and let me talk to the instructors and find out how much it costs and whatever. So I first started flying. My first flight lesson was in Van Nuys in California, in the valley.
Wow.
My first flight lesson. I still have my. Let me show you something. I've never shown
Uh-oh.
anybody this before. Okay, hold on.
We got a bunch of exclusives in this conversation. Manny. Yeah, his mom was everything.
So this is my flight bag for
Nice.
my little Cessna here. Okay.
Is that a book, How You Fly?
This is the operator manual of the Cessna that I was flying, and then this is my Bose headset. My Bose headset for my.
Wow. So that's what you wore in the plane?
So this is what I wear in the plane. My first one was David Clark. My first one was the old school David Clark. I don't know where I put that. It's around here somewhere. But then I had to move up to the Bose.
Nice.
Okay? So you have the little mic, and
Yeah.
so we're flying, and this is what that looks like when I'm in the plane and I got my Bose
And
and
what you got, like the
Bluetooth, so you can hook up
controls?
your phone and whatnot, right? So this is what that is. So it's one thing to talk about it, but it's
Yeah.
another thing to show you in how we be about it,
Right.
right?
Right. You
We
got
ain't
the
gonna
actual,
we
you
ain't gonna
got the
just talk
stuff.
about it. We're gonna show you how real it is, okay?
Manny got the receipts.
So okay, so that's one thing, okay? And put that away. I'll zip it up later. Okay, then the next thing here is my it's my logbook.
What's that?
My logbook.
Wow.
So my logbook, yeah, we do got the receipts. We got receipts.
No lie.
No
Look at
lie.
that.
So I've never shown this before. This is my logbook, my real life logbook of me flying. These are different stuff and endorsements, and then this is, I'm sorry, I'll put up there my first flights
Wow.
right here. And if you look at it and you see Van Nuys,
Yep, I see it.
BNY, that's my first time. That
Wow.
was in '94.
He been flying for a minute, y'all.
Since August of 1994 was my first flight. Okay, and then you more receipts, and then you keep flying.
Wow. Look at, so them are all hours
Yeah, this is all hours and
that you flew.
to fly. You just keep going.
Wow.
And you keep going.
And you were in the, when you were in the pilot spot when you was doing this.
Oh yeah. We flying. We're real deal. This is a real logbook. This ain't play. We ain't talking about it. This is doing it.
Man, look how many hours did you fly, dog?
We got a lot of time on this thing. So I just wanted to show you because you've talked about it, but I don't think I've ever shared with you.
Yeah, you haven't. I didn't see the earphones and the logbook. I didn't even know there was such thing as a logbook.
Yeah. So this is our logbook, and we put some time in. Even when I flew in Canada, I didn't log those hours. I don't know why, but I really didn't log any of the time I flew in Canada. But that was dope though. Because I was flying over the res. But anyway, back to the main story. Why I even brought that out was because I started flying, and it's a great feeling when your mom tells you can do whatever you want, and you know, in reason, of course. And so I would always come from the airport, and I would take off, and I would come straight to the house, and I would do like donuts in the air and around the house, and I would just keep one that wing dip down like that, and I would just like you know how the birds fly like that, and they
Yeah.
kind of fly in a circle, and I would always do that and fly around and like on a point. You pick a point, and then you fly the whole plane flies around that point, and the head kind of stays right there on it like that. And so I would do that just to let mom know, you know, it's just me,
What was her
me,
reaction?
mom. She would come outside. God, it's like a Forrest Gump moment.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy she let you, like, you eventually you got your way.
So I don't know why I didn't do it then, but so I eventually got me a ground radio. So I should have given her my radio. So this is the radio that we can communicate with for weather and for the other planes or whatever when you're on the ground or listen to calls or whatever. Sometimes we'll go to different air shows or uh you know, we're just chilling in the car watching. I love the planes. We have like this over here Falcon Field. We'll have some planes. They're doing like 7 or 8 planes, and they're doing formations and stuff at the airport. And so
Mm-hmm.
we can just turn it on and listen and hear what they're saying. They're breaking off, doing these maneuvers, and it's kind of dope. And I should have just given her the radio, and we can at least had a quick moment of, "Hey, mom, how you
I
doing?
know,
What's for lunch?
conversation.
What's for dinner? You know, or you need me to bring anything from the grocery store on the way back in, or you know, just some dumb stuff, right? Because you know that's what you do, right? So
Oh my God.
here's a fun moment. I know this got nothing to do with 9/11 or
Yeah,
any
yeah,
day,
yeah. But you listen,
but
you
we can
gave. You
give it.
already gave. You already gave what it's supposed to have given.
So the first time, um, so the first time I soloed, well, I'd already been ready. My teacher said I was ready to solo like a week ago, right? And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. So, so, so I'm like, sure about that? Like for real? So he's like, yes, I'm gonna get out the plane right now. No, you're not getting out right now. No, I'm talking about when you land. I'm gonna get out the plane and then you're gonna go around. Okay, so this is what you got to do. Okay, I'm gonna get out the plane and then you're gonna, you know, take off. You know, go taxi to the thing, take off, and you're gonna do 3 landings at a full stop. Like each landing, you do a full stop, and then that's your solo, right? And you got to go around the pattern, right? And I'm like, well, you don't understand. That just don't happen like that for us, all right? So my people got to be here, all right? Because they're never going to believe this,
Right.
okay? They're never going to believe this. I need to show my people what you're saying and what you're talking about. It's one thing saying, yeah, I just soloed the other day. And even though they would, you know, they really can't ever say to Manny, yeah, you tell a story because they know we do some pretty awesome, crazy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to see it, it's got to be an inclusion thing. You just can't just like do this and not include your family on monumental
Yeah.
moments such as this.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my mom and them, I told my sister and them, I told my cousin and them, like, you know, in the South, that's how we talk about the mom and them. So
Right, right, right.
we're in the ATL. I'm sorry. We'll get back to the Brooklyn lingo in a minute, but we're in the we're in the ATL, shouted. So
Atlanta.
we're gonna embrace that for a moment, okay? Uh,
Absolutely.
so so they showed up. The family, my niece, my sister, and everybody showed up at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing is believing. That's right.
Absolutely.
So, okay. First of all, for y'all that do not know, Quincy and I, we both went to Clark Atlanta University, so we are alumni. This is my real colleague. Like, we really went to school
Like,
together. So
for real, for real.
when you say colleague in the professional world, it's like you work with each other. We
Right.
went to school, we went to college together. So this is how we've known each other for the years, and family. And she's got even better stories than any of these ones I'm talking about for her cooking.
I don't think so. You're about to tell me about how you invited your whole family to see you do triple, quadruple stops in flying. Yeah, continue.
So I was like, yo, I'm excited. So we've been flying for that morning, he and I, my instructor and Mark, and we decided, I was waiting. I was waiting for them to show up. He wasn't getting out of that doggone plane for nothing until they showed up. And then they showed up and they pulled on the side. And one of the guys, forget his name, but he had one of these, like radio, right? Ground radio. And he's like, if you want to talk to them, here it is. You can talk to them, right? It's just like, nah, that boy need to concentrate. He don't need to be talking to me. He better fly that plane.
That sounds just like her.
But I can hear this in the plane on the I can hear this with my headphones on, with my thing on.
You must have been cracking up.
I'm dying laughing because they don't know they're on the, like, they're in the overhead speaker, because there's a speaker that's on the side of the FBO. And so the speaker, that when you speak, it can do it out there.
Yeah. You're fine.
Fix it back right. You okay?
Yeah, you good.
That might have been what okay, cool.
What, the whole time?
So what was I'm sorry, somebody just
you heard them while
so I'm hearing them in my headphones. I can hear them in the speaker of the on the ground, that she's like, he need to concentrate. Don't take that thing away from me. I don't need to I'm like, Mom, I can hear it. She's
oh God.
Grabbed the thing from him. She's like, you better concentrate and get on back down here, okay? Okay, Mom. So that completely was what I needed, because it completely got me from being nervous or thinking about the whole flying thing, because now I'm not even thinking about me. Now flying is second nature. I was already been ready to solo at that moment. I'm no longer thinking about me. I'm thinking about my mom, my sister, and them down here, and how afraid my mom is, how afraid my sister is, and my niece, and they're like in awe, and they had never seen me fly before. Well, my mom had, but she had never saw me fly by myself. So they were in awe, and I was loving the fact that they were like in a state of frantic, right? and so I, I did my thing. I did two one way, and then the wind had shifted, so I needed to go the opposite way of the pattern, because the winds had shifted and it was favoring the opposite direction. So now here it is, my time to show out a little bit, and they didn't even notice that I was even showing out. Okay. And this is not what I encourage anyone else to do, but I was just feeling myself at the moment.
Yeah.
So now here I am. I'm coming in for a landing, and I'm coming in like this, right? Because we're steep landing. I got full flaps coming in, and I'm like basically feathering this thing down. I'm coming in from a high approach, and I'm coming down, and I'm pulling my power back, and I'm just letting that speed bleed off. And now my back two wheels touch, and my front wheel is still up. And And because I landed early, because I like to land as close to the numbers as possible. If you look on an airplane, there's always two numbers, one on the opposite end, one at the very beginning of that one, right? So I'm
Mhm.
landing like literally like right after the numbers. I'm landing really, really early. And I'm landing and my back two wheels are just touched, right? And
Mhm.
I just give it just a little bit of power. And I literally wheelie the airplane all the way toward the other end before I dropped the nose because I was feeling myself. Okay,
Feeling
I
yourself.
felt like, man, would it be like the wheelie? You know, because like you're on a bike or something, right? So I
Yeah.
just wheelied it a little bit all the way down the runway just to have some fun, drop the nose, and then went on to turn off, radio, whatever my call sign was for the airplane, clear of active runway, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever that one was, and then come off, and then I get out. I'm pulling the cords out and my seat and trimming the plank because when he gets out, he just gets out, right? I'm the one that's gotta, you know, go through the checklist and go turn off everything and sequence and do all the other technical stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing all that. He just jumps out. He's like, all right, finish up. And he just jumps out. So I don't even know why he's jumping out whatever. And then I do all of those flights, right? And then I come back and he's down there talking to my mom the whole time I'm doing the three flights, right? And then do the opposite one. And then I'm doing the Willie. And all this by myself, right? This is my solo one.
Mm.
And he comes to the plane and he says, your mama said I can't throw water on you, but I can cut your shirt out. And
Wait, is this a tradition or
this
something?
is the tradition, okay? So um the tradition is when you solo, um they throw a bucket of water over you and then they cut the back of your shirt out.
Oh. No, you don't got the shirt. No, you don't got the shirt. Man, Manny got stories and receipts. Okay? Stories and receipts.
Okay, so I framed it.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, my.
So this is, I don't know how much you can see of it, but I'm gonna try and make it go up so you
Yeah,
can
I
see
see
how.
it. EL. Oh, my. Wow. Did somebody sign it? Did people sign it?
So the tradition is once you solo, this is 2003 that I soloed. Um, because I stopped for a while when I was flying. I stopped. I didn't like the instructor that was in LA, so I stopped. And then literally when I came to Georgia, I thought about it again. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let him take that away from me.
Come on
Still
now.
want to do this. And so I just because I didn't like him and the way that he was jerking the yoke when we were flying because he wanted me to do maneuvers that I wasn't ready for. Like, slow down, guy. I'm paying the ticket. If I go at a slow
Mhm.
place, then let me do that. Because it was probably flying for me was a fear,
Mhm.
but at the same time, something I've always wanted to do. So
Mm.
I was battling both things. I'm not fearful of it anymore, but you have to respect it.
Right.
Okay? So when I started back up, I started back in Atlanta and off of Tara Field, well, Atlanta's Motor Speedway now. But so what you do with this, I had everybody that was there who witnessed it to sign it.
Wow.
And
That's dope.
what was amazing, what I didn't know is that, normally the instructor only signs it. Um, so he was kind of not happy that I had other people sign it too.
He was like, that's reserved for me.
Right, right. But I'm like, damn that. Anybody that was here, y'all a witness. I need y'all to co-sign on this thing. You know what I mean? I need y'all to say that this is how it was. So my sister's signature is right here.
Oh, nice.
See?
Kiss.
Right? I mean, it's my shirt.
It's yours.
It's coming home with me.
Thank you.
My
But the
mom signed it right here.
oh, nice.
My mom signed it there.
Oh,
Um, and then so this airplane, let me see. So I landed. I think the last thing I landed was on 24, and the wing number of it. Um, so yeah, I had family and friends that was there to sign off on it. It was Hawaiian Day. And so normally on that day, every Wednesday on Hawaiian Day, that you wear a Hawaiian shirt. So that was
that's
why
why the shirt. Yeah.
I had a shirt, a T-shirt that I was going to, when I landed the second time, I was going to take off this and put on this because this is one of my favorite shirts. But I'm glad I didn't do that. And even though I like the shirt very much and I hate it being ruined, but I'm glad I did it because it really makes me remember this moment on what day it was,
Yes.
because it was the day that, you know, everybody wore their Hawaiian shirts on Wednesdays or whatever. And so it says first solo. I don't know if you can see that. It says first solo.
Yeah, I see it. Nice, Emmanuel.
So
What did they think? What did your mom think when you finally landed? They didn't let you throw no water on her, baby, but what your shirt got cut, but what did they think about what they actually witnessed?
that's a great question. Um they were just very surprised. She was in awe, she was shocked, she was like, you know, you can't underestimate this guy. You can't like you know, she was just like, she was in awe. She was just like, I can't believe my baby. In her mind, it wasn't Emmanuel Lewis doing it, it's my baby doing it,
Yes,
right?
that's what I'm
The baby boy.
saying.
So she was thinking, my baby's in the air, you know, and I'm the youngest of the group, right? I'm the baby boy. So it's like, my baby's in the air. I want him to be safe and land. And I'm guarantee you all she was doing down there was praying. And,
Right.
I gotta pray, mama, you know what I mean? So she was
Yes.
praying and binding the devil and doing, holding that cloth and, doing what church folk do, you know what I mean? So
So she was happy. She was happy to see her baby
oh
land
my
finally.
God, she was very happy. I was happy, and there's no, when you're doing something significant, you want your loved ones around you. You know what I mean? And to
Preach.
do it, and you know to do it and no one be there, it's like the most, probably one of the most loneliest feeling in the world, to do something dope and then nobody, you know, for those that you do exactly for yourself. And that was for me, but come on, this is like, black people don't do that. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you.
I
And
mean,
you
no,
from look, you
speak
from
endearment and
Brooklyn.
all that, but come on, it wasn't like I didn't know any other black pilots. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I didn't know on that day, at that moment, I didn't know any black pilot friend.
Mm.
I didn't know any black pilot person that I knew that would say, you know what, let me take you for a spin. Let's go up in my plane and let me show you that. Now I've been on private jets, don't get me wrong, but I'd never had been had that experience with a
Mm-hmm.
person of color, to make that a realization from a brother from the hood. You know what I mean? Like, I keep it really, really real. That's why I always say I'm from Bed-Stuy. It's not so much just the pounding on the chest. It's like, it's the remembering where you come from. You remember, I come from, projects. I come from Lafayette Gardens. I come from Bed-Stuy. People don't become pilots. You know what I mean? People don't have the best of the best. They're not aspiring to do the greatest thing. You're aspiring just to get out. You're aspiring to live. You're aspiring to, make it to the next week. You're aspiring for the low hanging fruit.
Right.
So to meet and greet people and do these other things, it's still, I don't take those events that I get a chance to do, like, at that time with Mike. You don't really take it for granted that much, because, it's like Biggie. It was all a dream. You know what I mean? You don't really, you don't
Yeah.
think that you think it's gonna leave at any given moment. You don't think that it's gonna last forever. You think that you're gonna savor this moment right now, and because if it's taken away, I'll have that memory forever. And so it's a different vibe. So I say that. I say I'm from Brooklyn because it's like you remember the concrete jungle, you know what I mean?
Mm.
That you come from, and those are not options that's handed to little Black boys and little Black girls, or little Hispanic boys and little Hispanic girls. You don't get that. Those are my neighbors. Those are the people who were my next door here and my next door there. You know what I mean? It was a high rise when we moved in there. It was a projects when I moved out. You feel me?
Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Mm.
So yeah, so that's just the, I don't know.
No, that's the reality. So is the first Black pilot experience of meeting somebody who you knew very well who flew a plane was looking in the mirror?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. So you didn't see it, but you became it.
Right. I mean, the model for 100 Black men is what you see is what you will be. That's the
Mm.
model for 100 Black men of America.
I love that. And you live that.
So I had to become what I didn't see in my community. I had
Yeah.
to become what was not necessarily an offer to me. I could go and do a lot of things, but there was not anybody that was saying this is an option for you. You can, I'm not saying from a, trying to do it for a living or anything like that, but just to even experience it once.
Yeah. Just
Remember
once.
that. Yeah, no, this is something that was out of my head that I thought would be dope. That I'm like, because I have remote control helicopters all the time, right? And I was like, man, it would sure would be dope to actually be in this helicopter, not from on the ground making it go up, but to be in there and making it go up, or where I want to go and land where I wanted to land, and do that. So
Mm. Mm. Mm.
so afterwards, I started to learn about the SLUGS, and I started to learn about all these other organizations where you have, different people to fly.
Wait, what
And
is what is slugs? What is slugs? What is that?
so SLUGS was right here in Atlanta, and it was so French says most Black boys in the hood want to drive the bus. You became the pilot and flew planes. So dope.
Yeah, that's super dope.
So SLUGS is an acronym, which I don't even remember what it is now, but it's basically Black pilots, some of them airline pilots, that, and OBAP. Yeah, I heard of OBAP before, but the local one here at PDK was called SLUGS, and I think it's called SLUGS, and there were a bunch of Black pilots, male and females, that had all these experiences. And had I not already done that, I would have never knew about these other groups, because this is before internet. This is before social media. This is before like all this other stuff that was going on. I think that about
Mhm.
this time we had dial up, you know what I mean? Which is completely, you know what I mean?
Right.
You got mail. Freaking AOL, boy. I swear those days are crazy.
Well, I'm just so glad, like, just that you showed us all of that, the log, because it makes it real for others too. You know what I mean? It makes it real for other people. Like, and then when you break it down, like, I'm from Brooklyn, and not to boast, but just from was the starting point, and look where I went.
Yeah. Yeah. So So it was definitely all these moments, and you think about, and it just ties to the family unit, you know what I mean, and how I equate it in my head, and I know it sounds so much different from everything else, but it's these moments that we cherish with family, and bringing folks together. And that moment when they drove in from Georgia to New York to come and get us, and all those moments start to collide on when those moments when the family got together, and there was something beautiful that was going to happen after all of that, and all these great nuances that we were able to have with one another. And I think about that moment, and
Yeah.
you know having mom, and she's been gone for 6 years now, and I still talk to her as if she's here, because I can always hear her words of wisdom, and I can always, the other day I got a cheese Danish, uh, because I was thinking of her, you know what I mean? Or I would do something that she would do, because, it's like a connection, right? And
Yeah.
so I would go to my brother and I'd be like, all right, I'm done with my memory. I eat half of it, shove it to Chris, my brother Chris. All right, take it from here. I got you, bro. I got you.
Y'all had so many great memories
Yeah,
with her. Like,
yeah.
oh
So
my.
I got it from here, bro. I know where you're going with this.
Because I'm sure he know about the cheese Danish as well.
So I don't know. It was crazy. I don't know. They could have drove. I don't know how fast they drove. All I know is that they got there with the quick.
With the quickness.
That's all I remember.
With the quickness. Your mother raised a beautiful spirit. You are, yes. Say that again. Dap on that 1,000 times. Like, you don't think that, when you grow up with good people, or your mom's a good person, or you got a good friend, or, you think that's like the world. It's not. It's not. So you are special. People know it. Anybody who's been in your company know it. I feel blessed and, honored. Like, Webster was a character, but like Emmanuel Lewis, that's the real deal. That's the real deal, Holyfield. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have been your friend all these years and all the moments that you've given me, not just September 11th and feeling that safety and that amazing fun the night before, but just regular you, regular day, regular whatever. You know what I mean? One of a kind.
Spaghetti, ice cream, and chicken legs.
Come on now. But not just barbecue. Some people just barbecue. Emmanuel, first of all, he made, I'm talking about my graduation party. It might as well have been his, because he was the hit. He was the man. This man made homemade ice cream. And like when you go to a barbecue, people got barbecue. This man had cuts on the meat, like in an advertisement. I was tripping. You know what I mean? I know you was, whoa, for real? Like, really?
Oh my God.
You came and kicked butt. Like, really, that was your party. Like, you know what I mean? I was there, but it was your thing.
It was your. Okay, we'll talk about that at
another time. Yeah, but just know this man has many talents. He can cook his face off.
We have a lot of memories together, because Quincy is family. This is part of our CAU family, but she made it. She's a member of the Lewis family.
Yes, and, I made it to the house.
She come to the house. She stay at the crib, and we go and drive the folks' house. And
Emmanuel was Uber Black before Uber existed.
Yeah, I don't know the stories we have. We have stories for days.
For days. And I'm just like one person. This man has lived, and I'm just one person. Like, all these, you can, Laverne in the comments, I'm sure, like, you got so many people where you got a whole chapter with. You know what I mean? That's why I prefaced earlier when I said, you know, people, Michael is a big dog, like you said, Michael Jackson, he is the Michael. So but like you have so many other chapters with so many other people that are amazing, from family to icons to just memories.
There are so many great memories. I don't even talk about the times we would hang out at Sammy Davis Jr. house very much, and those were big, major memories for me. And always hanging out with Debbie Allen and doing stuff with her. That was always a great memory. And going to Cab Calloway's house and going to hang out and visit Muhammad Ali. And I mean, there's so many different great moments. The 4th of July party we had with Herschel Walker and Ben Vereen at the house. There's so many different moments that, like, I can't even list them all. I really can't. There's just ones that just rise to the top. But there's so many great memories that's there that we don't really communicate much about. But it's always there are a lot of other stuff.
Will you ever write a book?
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Number one, there's so much stuff that happened. I don't even know how to condense it. I don't know what matters to other people, right? So what is it that they want to hear? I'd have to get, I guess, with an editor, but I would have to find out what it is that matters to them from the stuff, because what matters to me and what matters to the masses might be different. I'm very protective of the people I know, my relationships, and I'm very private, so that's very difficult. So I don't know. My thought would be yes, that would be a great answer. The reality, probably hell no.
Gotcha.
That's just
look. He keeping it all the way real with y'all. Okay, I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
That is. Oh my God! If you understand how real that moment is, right there.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It sound that it came from the heart of truth. Really.
There are other things that I could possibly write about, but you know, there are these new chapters that we're doing. We might be able to write about those things, elements of reflections of the past, and how those things created the person who I am today and what we're able to accomplish now because of what took place before. And basically the sum of all of who we are, I think is dope. I saw that friend, he says I can make a mean peanut butter and jelly. I saw that. All right.
Yeah, y'all don't even know, this brother can really, really cook. Like it's not even a joke. Like
listen,
and not just desserts, like main course, seafood, gumbo. Like seriously, where does it stop, man?
See, they don't know, and they have not seen what you have seen firsthand, because I think I came to your house with some plastic Tupperware of some chicken I had marinated the night before. That's how I entered your house. And I think I did the majority of the cooking at your house.
Yeah, you did.
Your apartment.
Yeah.
And so you saw it firsthand of what that was and how we got down. So it's very fun. I don't cook every day. I don't.
No, I'm just talking about the ability. Just like you probably don't fly every day, but the ability, the logs, the receipts, that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do nothing every day.
The ability, well, you know what, listen, I'm a mama's boy, not to the day she died, but to the day I died.
Come on now.
And I learned from my mama, I learned from my grandmother, I learned from my great-grandmother. My siblings didn't really take up cooking to that degree, and I was kind of stuck in the house. So if you're stuck in the house, if something starts smelling good, you want to figure out how do you recreate that if they ain't there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what that moment came from. I was always stuck in the house. I could not really go out and play. I had a professional career. I can't be on the playground and scuff up my arm and leg, and I've got to go tape the next day. So it wasn't, you know, those kind of things that I could do. So it was
But you
in
didn't
the
have
limit.
to be. But you didn't have to be good at it. That is my point. You could have did it.
What up, son?
You didn't
Uh,
have to be good at it. That's what
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
no, no. You no. See, my mama was awesome at cooking. Okay,
Amen.
she was awesome at cooking. You know that
Hmm.
firsthand.
I
But
do.
my grandmama
I
could
can't even
outcook
imagine.
my mama.
What?
Okay, and my great grandmother, who lived with us in L.A. and in Atlanta, she can set both of them down and give them both another lesson. You know what I
Wow.
mean? My great grandmother was that bad. She was, you
Mm.
know, she was born in Effingham, South Carolina. She was a Southern gal. My mama was from Virginia, Southern girl. So even though I'm from up top, I was learning from
Your roots are
my roots are from the South.
the South.
That's
Yeah.
why it's so comfortable for me to be in Georgia, because my
Yeah.
father's from Charleston, my grandmother's from Effingham. So there's a lot of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Southern native roots in my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you said so. You're saying if you was gonna cook, there was no way that you weren't gonna be good just based on
How
your
you not gonna be
DNA.
good when your great grandmother is over your shoulder? Go and stir that pot now. Don't let it burn. How you gonna cook? Taste a little bit of that. It needs a little bit more cumin. Needs a little more pepper. You know, when your great grandmother is
Come on now.
tasting your food,
You
and
can't
then
help it.
I have this great memory of taste. So if I taste it, then I could come back to it. And so that's what she taught me. She taught me
Mm.
how to know what's right or wrong with it by tasting it.
Yeah.
And my grandmother never measured anything. My great grandmother, she never measured anything. She used her hand
Mm.
like this. She would use her hand, and she would put the salt in it or the sugar in it or the whatever, and she would dump it, and she knew exactly. So I'm like, all right, grandma, because you know I didn't believe none of that. I'm like, so how do you know exactly if that's a
Yeah.
teaspoon or a tablespoon? She said you need those uh things. She's talking about the little measuring spoons, right? You need those things.
Yeah.
I don't. She says, get it out. This is a teaspoon. She pours some in there, and she said, I bring the little thing over there, and she would do that. And god dang, if it wasn't exactly a teaspoon. When she do it again, she know how to put exactly the amount. She would have a tablespoon. You pull the tablespoon out of that, it was exactly. So she knew how much seasoning. Like I can cook without using the teaspoons or not. I know it's going to be good to taste, but I couldn't tell you whether that was a teaspoon or a tablespoon or exactly
Mm.
how much that was. I couldn't tell you that, but I can tell you that I can do that way. I can cook that way and it be, good.
Mm.
I can
Mm.
taste
Mm.
that.
Mm. Man, oh my God, this has been like the most Emmanuel Lewis conversation ever. Like your conversation is going to be titled Emmanuel Lewis because we going from Michael to September 11th to Grandma cooking to flight school.
Posh is my chef over there. She's the chef with the mostest, and
Oh,
she
for
can do
real?
that. She said I can do that. She can know whether it's a teaspoon more.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not. But see, I don't ever put it in my hand though. I just shake, and
Oh, okay.
I just know. And I mean, you do it enough time, you just know. But and you taste and you find out where you at, and
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just
I just
another.
listen. I don't know what you do. I just knew it all tasted good.
That's all that mattered.
I was like, this man can cook spaghetti, chicken, fresh homemade ice cream. I mean, do you remember how Brett looked at you the
Oh
next
my
day?
God. Oh yes. Oh my God. I was afraid. I felt like I was naked for a moment.
Right? She looked at you like she could sop you up with a biscuit from that food being so
Oh,
good.
she got that fresh, I think it was fresh ice cream that I made.
Mm-hmm.
Was it strawberry or
I
vanilla?
don't know. I think it was chocolate, but it was good. It
Yeah,
was
I
fresh.
think I
It was
made.
homemade.
Yeah. So
Oh, what's my hat? It's Whitney Houston. It says Whitney Houston.
you
I don't know
should
where I got it,
have
but I've
known
been
that.
having it for a long time.
So yeah, so that's how we learn, and you just
Yeah.
play with
Well,
stuff and enjoy.
well, I want to bring it all because you got a game to go to. This man, like, I don't want to be eating. He got to go
That's true.
in an hour.
Okay, so I had to swap my schedule because I realized that 4 o'clock was supposed to be our first home game for Clark, and so I had a double thing today, so I can't go to that one. But my boy Sean from Kool and the Gang, he's the lead singer of Kool and the Gang. We're going to the Home Depot, and I got to hang out with him because they're the Johnny Gill, Kool and the Gang, Frankie Beverly, and
Mm.
who's the last group? One more group is performing. The brothers, Whispers.
See,
I'm going backstage to hang out with them
today.
right now in an
See,
hour. I gotta
that's
meet
what
him
I'm
in an hour.
talking. That's what I'm talking about. Blocks. A whole nother chapter is today.
Yeah.
September 11th. You make it a whole new chapter today. You just said Kool and the Gang, Johnny Gill, The Whispers, classic. No, she did ask me, did I ever get to meet Whitney? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was amazing.
Quincy.
And Emmanuel Lewis, Manny, he was executive producer of a fan documentary I did for Whitney. He helped back that on Kickstarter many years ago. So thank you again for that. Like, you supported me in a way that nobody has. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to meet Whitney in 1998 on MTV. I got to interview her. So yeah.
Yeah, she was the that made her life.
Yeah.
That right there was the 9/11 was serious, but meeting Whitney Houston was the highlight of her entire life.
Come on now.
I'm not even mad at that. I think that is the most beautiful thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, I think that's dope. I'm so happy, to meet someone that you love and respect as like an idol, and they turn out to be cool. What's better than that?
Nothing. Nothing. How about this? Meeting another one. You.
There it is. There it is.
There it is. There it is. Oh my God. Please post some stuff because you'll go to the Home Depot, you'll go to the Johnny Gill, and maybe you won't give us none of that because you just be in the moment. Post something from it. Nice. I see you've been posting certain things. You being safe, right? You know it's Corona, Delta, Mu, whatever going on out there.
That's what my phone is leaning on right now. One of my masks.
I
I got it propped
Did
up.
y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
Everywhere. I got a mask for all the flavors. I got the black one. I got the white one.
I love it.
For Clark. I got one for the Braves. I got my electric mask. Let me show you my electric mask.
You have an electric mask? What does that do?
Let me show you.
This boy got an electric mask. So I'm assuming he vaccinated on top of it because he don't do nothing halfway. He got an electric mask. I never even heard of an electric mask.
Was developed and owned by a black company. It's called New Airs. Okay.
Wow.
And what this is, it's not. This one's not open, but it's electric mask on. It's a HEPA filter on it, and you push it, and it gives you air. It circulates air inside so that you can breathe.
What?
And it's called New Airs.
Not only do you find the latest thing, you find something that's black owned.
So you Go check it out. It's very good proficiency. We got some other masks we need to go to the next level, which we really should, but kind of look crazy. You're the only one doing it.
Somebody asked you back. Yes, I am vaccinated. Are you vaccinated, E?
All day.
Yeah, I got my shots. But I still got some masks. Now I don't have no electric mask. Have you used the electric mask yet?
Oh yeah, mine's in the car.
What?
Yeah, this is my extra one. Mine is in the car.
Is it comfortable?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna check that.
Is a mask comfortable? I mean,
No. I'm talking about the electric one, like we got.
But you live with it.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, I ain't never heard of no electric mask. That's dope. Mm-mm-mm.
No, you have to buy this online. So I don't know if you can get that barcode right with that.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna check that out. That's a good gift. That's a good gift. Man, we didn't span you, like you said, oh, I got a football. I switched that. I'm be hanging out with Cool in the gang. I love it.
Well, Sean just reached out and so I said okay.
Yeah, that's you. That's you. Well, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you going live with me today, reminiscing about September 11th, and I really wanted to know everything that you felt, and a lot of stuff was brand new. Never could have conceived it, thought of it. You went in.
Well, I don't talk about it very much or ever. It is what it is. Hold on, I got a joke to say.
I pinned that comment for you. New airs.
There you go.
It's pinned.
Okay.
Final words, Manny.
Uh,
Final words about September 11th. Final words about life lessons that you learned. Leave us with some Manny wisdom.
when you think about all of who we are as people, Americans, as family members, loved ones, what you take in any situation where there's loss of life is that we have more time to be in the moment of whatever we do. And so to me, as horrible as crazy any moment are when you lose people in general, let alone loved ones that you know personally, is you don't know when that moment you're never gonna see. So, like if you're somewhere with, get off your phone, get in the moment. If you're vicinity when they about to hug them a little bit longer.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to spend some time, don't defer that moment to another time. Carpe diem. Seize that moment. Seize the day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take life, family, friends for granted. Tomorrow's not promised. So when you think about you think about hurricane, you think about all these crazy moments, the pandemic. The thing that matters most that you think about is the last time you saw them. And what did you do? Were you arguing? Were you could you forgive them? Because after all of that, laying over the casket and wailing and acting a goddamn fool, that ain't going to be real. Be someone that can forgive quicker on the spot. Don't wait all of that is done, wish you would have done something different later. Be a better person as soon as you can. You know, come to that, you know what, that moment wasn't all that. They could be wrong, but you know what? Let it go. Time is of it. Loving each other now, not never, not later. Suspending that, those feelings, thoughts, and moments and times that we have each other, and we all we got.
We all we got. Man, if you didn't put everything in perspective, I got something new out of that too. What you just what you just said. Forgive quicker, love harder, let it go. Because you don't know when is the last time you will see somebody or hang with somebody or be with somebody.
We'd be like, man, I was just with the other day. It looked good. It looked fine. Hug a little harder. Hug a little longer. Without it being creepy.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I need another one. Bring that in.
Yeah.
Those just, you know, it's important. You know, help somebody out. Don't put a whole thought on it. Don't put a whole lot back. You're gonna do and walk away. Don't. Well, remember the time that somebody trying to hear all that. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You did it from the heart, and you do it from the heart. Let it go. Don't make somebody have to cash that in, and now they want the reward from back. What did you do it for?
Mm.
Did you do it for those, or did you do it because you really meant that? Because if you meant, you shouldn't even have to admit that again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You preaching today. You preaching today. I wish I had my tambourine. Because I got one.
That's like, but that's really how we do it, though. That's why we've never talked about it since that moment. We left the car and we went to Georgia. We stayed at the crib. You stayed at the crib. I lived at the crib.
Right.
And we never talked from this moment to then. You and I have never talked about that.
Nope.
The whole Michael, the whole 9/11. And we're right there with each other. Never talked about it.
Nope. And I never even thought to even ask you about it until literally yesterday. Yesterday, it hit me and I was like, and I just text you and, you know, like the wonderful brother you are, you text me back. I do it for you, Q. I made a graphic and here we are.
I've been like doing my social media silence for a minute because I'm trying to get me in the business and all of that stuff going. So I'm doing a whole lot of wise for the last. I just really needed to pull in, but you know, you fam, that's you lost a million. So that's what you want. That's what you need. Let's get that on out there. Wait.
Well, I appreciate it, and you gave so much.
Again,
Huh?
he's in that moment. That's what I'm talking about. You want to do it? Okay, let's do that because this, you know, this is our moment. So whether we're doing it via, you know, IG or whether we're in person, I want to grasp that moment. So I trying to live by those words.
Yeah. Everything that you said, that's what you live by. Like, that's what I've experienced from you. But what I guess I try to articulate to you is that a lot of people aren't that. So I just, you know, want to, you know, just stress how rare and beautiful you are and that you appreciate it. I love that energy. I love that God has allowed me to connect with that kind of energy. Oh, look, my sister, her name is Quentin. She said, oh, that's so sweet. So when can we meet, fam? One day. You meeting them now. You right here. You on Instagram.
That's up to Q. Listen, I got to run.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. Love you.
I love you too. Love you forever. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it. Peace.